Chapter 6064. That's right. The zombie emperor didn't deny it. I do have a grudge against the Xia family, but we didn't do the ghastly water clan. Who else could it be? You've slapped us in the face before. The ghastly water clan leader roared crazily. Lin Xian also snorted. If we attacked, we would have killed him in one blow. The deep blue emperor didn't even have a chance to beg for mercy. How could he have given him a chance to report? The ghastly water emperor trembled with anger. Was he looking down on the great emperor of his family? The Xia family leader also roared. Don't be fooled by this kid. Let's attack together and kill him. So what if Qin Wentian had two experts with immortal qi beside him? They also had one on their side and more than one. In addition to the Xia family leader, Xia Qinyu, Zhulong also had two great emperors with immortal qi. However, Zhulong frowned and said, Don't move. Look at what that is. With that, he waved his dragon claw and grabbed forward. A gust of wind blew, and the white flame in the air kept shaking. Then, the crowd saw an inconceivable scene. One of the deep blue emperor's arms was grabbed by a pair of black hands, then broken and eaten. Someone was gnawing on the great emperor's bones. What was that? It wasn't Lin Wudi. The people of the other families also exclaimed. It was an unknown creature. There was indeed something in the mysterious palace. Get out of here. The ghastly water clan leader roared and charged forward. The black figure dodged the attack with a sway of his body. He let out two low growls and disappeared into the darkness. Are you okay? The others also rushed over and looked at the deep blue emperor. You're a great emperor. Can't you beat him? Why didn't you fight back? The deep blue emperor said weakly, I can't move. Take the cloth off me. Only then did everyone realize that there was a layer of black cloth covering the deep blue emperor's body. Get out of here. The ghastly water clan leader reached out to grab the black cloth. However, Zhulong said, Don't move. But it was too late. The ghastly water clan leader had already caught it. The next moment, he let out a miserable shriek. His palm had completely rotted away. He let out a painful groan, smashed his palm and grew a new one. His face was extremely pale. What was that? Just now, I actually felt my entire body go numb. Lin Xian and the others were also surprised. This black cloth was too strange. It could make a great emperor lose his battle prowess. Do you know what it is? The members of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families shook their heads. The faces of the dark clouds, tribe members, turned ugly as well. Even the members of the Xia family were frowning. They had no idea. At this time, the great dragon sword spirit was surprised. There was actually a shroud here. Lin Xian was stunned. He said, Dalong, you know? Dalong nodded. The shroud is a terrifying existence. They had once enveloped an extremely ancient and mysterious expert. Therefore, he had some special abilities. Once covered by the shroud, it was very likely that one would rot and become a corpse. Even great emperors were not spared. It was so terrifying. Lin Xian was shocked. The next moment he stood out and said, Now you know it wasn't me, right? The Ghost Water tribe leader gritted his teeth. The members of the Xia family also snorted. There was no danger for the time being. Lin Xian said, This thing is called a shroud. It had once enveloped the bodies of countless experts. It has a mysterious power. If you want to save him, come and beg me. What? A shroud? The people around were surprised. The eyes of the Xia family leader and the candle dragon burst out with a cold light. Obviously, they had heard of this thing, but they didn't expect to see it with their own eyes. The Ghost Water tribe leader had no choice but to come to Lin Xian's side. Lin Gongzi, I've offended you before. I apologize to you. Please help me, Lin Gongzi. As a supreme great emperor and the leader of a tribe, the Nether Water tribe leader was so lofty and arrogant. But at this moment, he had to lower his head and submit to Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, I saved his life. Although he said it was to save the deep blue emperor, Lin Xian actually wanted this shroud. This thing was so terrifying. It was a super killing weapon in his hand. If he didn't like anyone, he could directly wrap them up and turn them into bones. Don't beg him. I'll do it. Xia Qinyu walked out. He wouldn't give such a good thing to others. So he stretched out a hand. On his palm, there was an extremely terrifying black light emerging. It was like a dark star. It hit the shroud. The shroud shook, emitting a black light, as if to corrode the other's palm. The two were in a stalemate, and the surrounding void was shattered. Xia Tianyu was stunned. So powerful? The power of this shroud was beyond his imagination. He wanted to make another move. However, at this moment, a long sword slashed across, picked up the shroud, and then floated into the distance. How was it possible? Who was it? Xia Qianyu was dumbfounded. Who could take away the shroud so easily? He looked in the direction of the long sword and found that it was Lin Xian who made the move. This kid wasn't even a great emperor. Where did he get this power? He didn't know that Lin Xian's sword was the immortal slaying sword, which had once killed an earth immortal. And the sword chi he used was the dragon-shaped sword chi of the great dragon sword soul, which had an indestructible power. With the combination of the two, taking away the shroud was not a problem at all. Good stuff. Lin Xian looked at the shroud in front of him and exclaimed. Then he raised his head and looked around. The other great emperors felt their hair stand on end. Lin Gongzi, I think we had a misunderstanding before. The people of the Wuyun clan hurriedly smiled apologetically. The people of the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans also said, Lin Gongzi, we were sorry before. We apologize to you here. The great emperors of these clans all apologized. They had no choice. If Lin Xian didn't like someone, he could throw this thing at them. No one could take it. The people of the Xia clan didn't apologize, but they were all facing a great enemy. Even the first elder was so scared that he took 3 steps back. Humph! Lin Xian snorted and carefully put away the shroud. He shot out a lot of sharp sword chi and surrounded it. Then he said, Now that we are in this mysterious palace, we can't fight among ourselves. Let's work together. Yes. Lin Gongzi was right. The Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans hurriedly nodded. They all secretly let out a sigh of relief. No matter how unhappy they were with Lin Xian, they didn't dare to do anything in this palace. The reason why Lin Xian didn't immediately fall out with these people was also because he was worried. The unknown creature that gnawed on the bone just now should be a ghoul. They had seen such things before. However, this single one was even more terrifying than the hundreds of thousands of them outside. Back then, ghouls had appeared in groups. Who knew how many ghouls there were in this palace? Once they encountered a group of ghouls, they really needed everyone to work together. So, before they saw the creation's celestial pool, they shouldn't fight. The Gloomwater clan leader also asked, Lin Gongzi, what do you think we should do next? He had saved the deep Blue Emperor, so he was very grateful at this moment. Hearing this, the first elder of the Xia clan was furious. What does a young kid know? Why don't you ask the Xia clan? These people had been led by the Xia clan, but now they were on Lin Xian's side. He was furious. Chapter 60-65. Xia Tianyu's face also darkened. A murderous intent appeared in his eyes, enveloping the surroundings. Suddenly, the scalps of the other families went numb. They were in a dilemma. On the one hand, they were afraid of the Xia family. At the same time, they were also afraid of the shroud in Lin Xian's hand. However, at this moment, Lin Xian smiled. If you don't listen to me, do you think I'll listen to you? You don't even know what the shroud is. Do you know what to do next? Of course, they had to walk forward. The first elder snorted. Lin Xian shook his head. Nonsense, but there's darkness ahead. Can you walk? What's the big deal? Isn't there a flame? As he spoke, the first elder reached out to grab the flame in the air. However, the flame seemed to have become transparent. His palm passed through the flame. How is that possible? He couldn't catch it. The others were also surprised. They all tried to catch the flame and found that they could only see it, but they couldn't catch it. Lin Xian sneered. You can't even catch this flame. Why should others listen to you? The first elder gritted his teeth. Damn kid, can you catch it? Of course. Lin Xian said. This flame is called the ghost bone fire. It was a flame formed by the bones of a strong man after his death. So it has such an origin. The surrounding great emperors were surprised. The first elder snorted. Nonsense. So many of them didn't know the origin of this flame. How could this kid know? Lin Xian ignored him. This information was naturally given to him by Dalong. Dalong was an existence that swept across the ninth underworld. Naturally, he knew a lot of things. He even knew how to collect the ghost bone fire. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan and summoned the white bone palm in the Sun Valley. Then, the white bone palm waved, and the ghost bone fire in the sky fell into the palm of his hand. It was over. He could summon it with a gentle wave of his hand. The surrounding great emperors were dumbfounded. Even Xia Qinyu furrowed her brows. Let's go. Lin Xian led the way with the bone specter fire, and the others followed. What these people didn't know was that the ghost bone fire could only be fused with bones. Flesh and blood couldn't be touched. This was also the reason why so many martial monarchs were unable to find anything. Flesh and blood could not bear it. The other great emperors from the other families followed Lin Xian. It was as if he was following the other party's lead. Instead, they had left the Xia family in the cold. Many members of the Xia family gritted their teeth. Xia Qinyu snorted coldly, and the killing intent in his eyes couldn't be contained. Next to him, Torch Dragon smiled. This little guy is a little interesting. He then turned to Xia Qinyu and said, Why are you in such a hurry? The most important thing now was to find the creation celestial pool. Previously, we searched many places in the ancient city, but didn't find anything. I think since this palace is so mysterious, maybe the celestial lake of creation is inside. Let them explore in front of us. Xia Tianyu nodded. All right, then let him live a little longer. When I find the celestial creation pool, I'll be the first to kill him. He led the members of the Xia family and followed. After the period it took an incense to burn, Lin Xian and the others came to a stop once again, because another ghost bone flame appeared in front of them. It was also suspended in midair. The others were overjoyed. This is great. After they obtained the second flame, they would have a certain amount of power and could act alone. Many people tried to make a move. Kid, make a move quickly. Don't let these people snatch it away. The 9 netherworld beasts said. Lin Xian opened his Rinnegan. He frowned slightly and didn't make a move, because he could see that there seemed to be unknown danger ahead. Someone next to him laughed and said, Lin Gongzi will take this flame. You don't mind, do you? Lin Xian smiled. It's okay. Do whatever you want. Great. The members of the Hidden Thunder family quickly made a move. The others also scrambled for it. But at this moment, a roar came from the darkness in the distance. Then it turned into a black storm and rushed over. Damn it, what's that? Not good. It's the monster that gnawed on the great emperor's bone. Retreat quickly. These people were frightened and retreated frantically. They retreated, their faces pale. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. It's here again. Under the illumination of the ghost bone flame, everyone could see clearly what it was. It was a ghoul. The people of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families exclaimed. The others also had ugly expressions on their faces. They had seen this thing in the ancient city before. It was very terrifying and specialized in gnawing on human bodies. A ghoul was nothing to be afraid of. Everyone planned to end the battle quickly. However, at this moment, many black shadows appeared around them, overlapping. They also let out a low roar. Not good, there's more than one. Damn it, I knew it. Ghouls appear in groups. We're in danger. Why don't we leave quickly? Some people were terrified. Even the great emperor had the intention to retreat now. Since you're here, don't think about leaving. A cold voice sounded, making people's hair stand on end. Lin Xian and the others were all surprised. Someone is talking. Who is it? Everyone turned their gazes to the front. They saw a person walking over. This figure was holding an ancient white lamp in his hand. There was a ghost bone flame jumping in it. This person was wearing ancient armor and looked very serious, like a zombie. There was a strange black light in his eyes. His voice was also very deep. It was as if two metal pieces were constantly colliding. Someone in this place. There was someone else besides them. Who was it? Did someone arrive before them? The people of the Xia family were shocked. The people of the other families were also on guard. Why doesn't this guy look like someone from our era? Could he be someone who stayed behind after the world-shaking battle? That was a battle 1,000,000 years ago. How terrifying must he be to survive until now? Who are you? Xia, Qinyu asked in a deep voice. Me. The withered man smiled. I'm from the Immortal Sect. My name is Immortal Water. Immortal Sect? After hearing this, everyone frowned. I've never heard of such a sect. Xia, Qinyu snorted. What Immortal Sect? You're just pretending to be mysterious. Immortal Water was also angry. That's because you're ignorant. You don't even know about the Immortal Sect. You people, kneel on the ground obediently. How dare you disturb my master's rest? How dare you? Who is your master? How dare you make us kneel? The people of the Dark Cloud tribe also roared. The great emperors of the other families also snorted coldly. Even if they faced Xia Qinyu, they didn't need to kneel. No one could make them kneel. Immortal Water looked up to the sky and laughed. Stupid, my master is naturally the leader of the Immortal Sect, which is immortal. How dare you be disrespectful to immortal? I think you don't want to live anymore. Immortal? Everyone was surprised. Could it be an Earth Immortal? There was an Earth Immortal here. Everyone was terrified. Even Xia Qianyu's face changed drastically. Zhu Long could no longer remain calm. Although they were powerful, they were no match for him. Although they were powerful, they were not enough to deal with an Earth Immortal. The other party could kill them with a single finger. Impossible. How could it be here? What about an Earth Immortal? Stupid. It seems that you don't know how powerful our Immortal Sect is. He waved his hand. The surrounding ghouls rushed up. Chapter 6066. You can actually command ghouls. The surrounding great emperors were all stunned. Can these things be controlled by humans? Immortal Water snorted coldly. This is the method of our gate of immortality. We raise these ghouls. Everyone was horrified when they heard this. Does the gate of immortality really have an Earth Immortal? Otherwise, why would they have such a magical method? Get lost. Patriarch Netherfire roared angrily. Terrifying flames surrounded his body. The terrifying power changed the color of the sky and earth. The wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families also attacked. They roared angrily like war gods. Powerful immortal energy and terrifying laws were displayed to the extreme. They wanted to fight against these ghouls. The battle broke out in an instant. It was very fierce. These ghouls had eaten countless experts to grow up. They were very terrifying. Their bodies were extremely hard. When the great emperors hit them, they made a clanging sound. It was very difficult to break them. On the contrary, these ghouls could eat the bodies of the great emperors. Therefore, this battle made everyone's hair stand on end. Lin Xian and the others were also attacked. Xuet Qi shot out ice, and Xia Jiao and the others also attacked. The number of ghouls was more than they had imagined. Therefore, they retreated as they fought. However, some ghouls also appeared behind them. They blocked their way. During this process, Lin Xian was surprised because he found that unless he took the initiative to attack, these ghouls wouldn't pay attention to him. Instead, they attacked Shui, Qi, and Xiajiu crazily. This stunned Lin Xian. Why? Is it because I don't have the cultivation of a great emperor? But that shouldn't be the case. The people of the other families who didn't have the cultivation of a great emperor were even more miserable. They were directly pierced through and had their hearts grabbed. Why wasn't he attacked? Dalong said, because you're not from the netherworld, and you don't have that kind of cold aura. You have the aura of the purest yang, so they won't attack you. They might even be afraid of you. So that's the reason. Lin Xian understood. In that case, he would be able to restrain these ghouls. However, Dalong said, no, it's useless to restrain these ghouls. With the immortal sex methods, I'm afraid they've cultivated a lot of ghouls. Therefore, there would be no result if they continued fighting like this. You have to control that immortal water first. There was something wrong with the white bone lamp in that guy's hand. Not only would he be able to create spirit bones, but he would also be able to control these ghouls. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Lin Xian's eyes flickered coldly as he prepared to attack the immortal water. At this moment, the surroundings of the immortal water were extremely silent. Holding the lantern, he stood there with the corners of his mouth raised. How could these idiots understand the power of the immortal sex? Let them all become nourishment for the ghouls. Immortal water was not surprised by those outsiders. Evidently, there had been others that had come here before. However, they had all fallen. Although there were several experts with 2 strands of immortal qi among the people that had come this time around, they were all experts with 2 strands of immortal qi. His strength far surpassed those people from before. However, they would definitely fall in the end. Just as he was feeling smug, a beam of light suddenly appeared in front of him and rushed towards him. How could this be? Could someone break through the attacks of the ghouls? It was too unbelievable. Could it be a super great emperor with 2 strands of immortal qi? Thinking of this, his expression changed drastically as he quickly retreated. However, it was still too late. With a slash of his sword, the white bone lamp in his hand was actually cut in half. The white bones scattered all over the ground. The bone specter fire also dimmed. Damn it! Immortal Water shouted angrily. Was this guy a coincidence? Or was he specifically attacking this white bone lamp? The lantern was the key to controlling the ghouls. Otherwise, these ghouls would lose control. He would not be able to explain himself when he returned. With a furious roar, he reached out his palm and grabbed one of the bones. However, at this moment, a sword chi hit his hand again. It sent him flying. Damn it! Immortal Water raised his head when he saw that the person who attacked was actually a quasi-emperor. He was stunned. He wasn't even a great emperor, yet he dared to behave atrociously in front of him. Kid, you must be tired of living. Although I don't know how you broke through the ghoul's attack line. However, with your cultivation level, you dare to come and be arrogant in front of me? I will tear you to pieces. After regaining his composure, Immortal Water was full of murderous intent. Endless laws appeared beside him. Kill! With a furious roar, he quickly charged over. In his opinion, a mere quasi-emperor would be killed in a single move. However, Lin Xian slashed down with his sword. The peerless sharpness tore through the void and instantly split his opponent's palm. Immortal Water covered his hand and screamed. He kept roaring, "No, this is impossible. How can you have such a powerful attack?" Immortal Water was not afraid even when facing a great emperor. He could fight. Unless it was a powerhouse with 2 strands of immortal qi, he would be afraid. However, a mere half-martial emperor had managed to injure him. This was too unbelievable. Immortal Water roared and summoned the 3 ghouls around him to attack Lin Xian. Let's see how you die. These ghouls were very terrifying. Their claws could easily shatter the void and tear apart the body of a great emperor. However, when those ghouls approached Lin Xian, they let out an uneasy roar. They stopped and quickly retreated. They did not attack. What was going on? Even the ghouls did not dare to attack. This was impossible. Immortal Water was completely stunned. Who are you? Who exactly are you? I am a god, a high and mighty god, an existence that you can't imagine. Lin Xian sneered. He flicked his finger, and a sword light pierced through heaven and earth. Immortal Water was sent flying. There was a sword hole on Immortal Water's body. He kept vomiting blood. Fear appeared in his eyes. The other party had injured him with a sword chi. This was much stronger than an ordinary great emperor. This guy could fight above his level, and he could fight above many levels. Also, the aura on the other party was not the aura of the Netherworld at all. Damn it, you are from outside the Netherworld. Immortal Water seemed to have discovered something. He roared crazily. No wonder this kid was so strange. Even the ghouls did not dare to attack him. Not only was he from outside the Netherworld, but he also had the power of the purest yang. This was a power that was completely opposite to their Netherworld. Damn it, how did you get in? Had these families already joined forces with the powerhouses from the outside? He was really crazy. The families that were fighting with the ghouls were also shocked. Outside the Netherworld? How was that possible? Did this Lin Wudi really come from the outside universe? At this moment, they also could not believe it. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. It seems that you are not stupid. Since you know that I can restrain you, why don't you obediently kneel down and submit? Tell me all the details of the immortal sect. Don't even think about it. Immortal Water roared. He took out a broken saber. There were endless cracks on it. However, it was extremely sharp. This was a broken weapon left behind from the war back then. However, its power exceeded that of ordinary extreme weapons. The slash was strong enough to slice a martial monarch in half. Lin Xian smiled. He waved his hand and took out the shroud. The black cloth fluttered in the air. You can actually subdue this kind of thing. After Immortal Water finished looking, he turned around and ran. Chapter 60-67. The Immortal Water was really too shocking. First of all, the power of the purest yang was something that the 9 serenities didn't have. The other party's appearance here had already surprised him. However, he was still able to rely on his own trump card to defend himself. After all, he was from the immortal sect. However, when the other party took out the shroud, he had no choice. He couldn't resist this thing. Therefore, he ran away like a madman. Exerting his power to the extreme, he broke through the void. However, he was still a step too late. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the shroud flew out, covering the sky and earth in front of him. In an instant, it enveloped the Immortal Water. At the most critical moment, the Immortal Water decisively gave up on his body. In that instant, his soul escaped and merged into the darkness, disappearing without a trace. He only left one sentence. Kid, just you wait. The immortal sect won't let you go. He ran away. It was really strange. Lin Xian was also extremely surprised. The shroud could easily seal even a great emperor. This guy's soul could escape. However, the other party was decisive. He should know the power of the shroud. Therefore, he bravely gave up his body. After he ran away, the ghouls around also quickly retreated and all left. Finally, they left. The fighting families and sects all breathed a sigh of relief. Many of them cried, because in such a short time, many people had already died. Their bodies were torn apart and their bones were swallowed. Even a few great emperors were seriously injured. Although they didn't die, the situation was very critical. Lin Gongzi saved us again. These people looked at Lin Xian with incomparable gratitude. If Lin Xian hadn't beaten this person away, perhaps more great emperors would have died. The people of the Xia family were also shocked, especially the patriarch, Xia Qinyu, who stared at Lin Xian as if he wanted to see through him. He didn't even know how to break it. How did this kid know? He said, "Who are you? You're not from the 9 serenities. How did you come in? How do you know about the shroud? How do you know about the ghost bone fire? What's your relationship with this place? Don't you know what kind of conspiracy it is? A series of angry roars could be heard. The others were also shocked. Yes, this young man is really too mysterious. Lin Xian smiled. There are many things in this world that you don't know. I know. Is this a scheme? What a joke. Your heart is too narrow-minded. Can't you admit that others are better and stronger than you? What a stupid thing. Lin Xian's sarcastic remarks made Xia Qinyu tremble with rage. If this was a land immortal, it would be fine if he taught him a lesson. Indeed, his skills were not as good as others. However, you are just a puny quasi-emperor. What right do you have to lecture me? I am a great emperor who has cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi. I am an expert who has made a name for myself since hundreds of thousands of years ago. When I swept through the world, you weren't even born yet. Naturally, he couldn't tolerate it. What a sharp-tongued thing. I want to see what you have to resist me. Xia Qinyu couldn't hold it in any longer. Previously, he had planned to kill the other party when he found the fortune celestial pool. But now he had to suppress the other party first. Do you want to fight? Lin Xian took out the immortal killing sword. The corpse emperor also walked over. But at this moment, the Netherwater clan leader said, Clan leader Xia, please give me face first. The people of the other clans also said, Yes, clan leader Xia, Lin Gongzi saved us this time. We can't repay evil with good. Yes, we still need Lin Gongzi to continue to lead the way for us. At this moment, the people of these clans actually stood beside Lin Xian. You, damn it, are you going to go against the Xia clan? Xia Qinyu's face darkened. Torch Dragon also came over to persuade. Fellow Taoist, calm down and be patient. Okay, I'll be patient. Xia Qinyu withdrew his power. He left. With the support of these people, Lin Xian was not afraid of the Xia clan at all. He continued to lead the way. In the white bone palm, there were 2 balls of ghost bone fire jumping, and the light was brighter than before. It could also illuminate further places. This time, there were no ghouls on the road. However, they did not dare to be careless. Just as they continued to move forward, on the other side, the soul of immortal water fled in panic. He fled to the depths of the palace. There was endless light here. There were many ghost bone fire around, forming lanterns and hanging on the wall. The area in front of them was brightly lit. Not only that, if one looked carefully, they would find that this was simply an immortal palace. It was completely different from the cold darkness around. On the magnificent gate, 2 words were written in flamboyant calligraphy, Immortal Gate. On it, the multicolored light was extraordinary, as if it could ascend at any time. There were also some people in the Immortal Gate. These people were thin and wore ancient robes. At this moment, 2 people suddenly looked up. Who is it? They shouted coldly. In the darkness in front of them, a soul suddenly rushed out. Senior brothers, save me. You are immortal water. What's going on? Where is your body? The 2 figures rushed over and asked in astonishment. You are injured. Who injured you? Did the people outside come in? It's faster than we thought. Obviously, these people had calculated that someone would come in the near future, but the time was a little earlier. Immortal Water said, Not only did they come in, but someone also injured me. One of them is a guy from outside the 9th Serenity. I don't know how did he get in, but he is very strange. I must kill him. Senior brother, please avenge me. What? Someone from outside the 9th Serenity. Could it be that the 9th Serenity has reopened? These people were also extremely surprised. Someone said, Who cares? I want to see who dares to go against our immortal gate. That is, catch him, suppress him, and everything will be clear. These people were ready to set off. But at this moment, an old voice came from the depths of the immortal gate. Stop. After the disciples below heard it, their bodies trembled. The next moment, they turned their heads and exclaimed, "It's the immortal! The immortal has woken up!" They quickly ran over and knelt on the ground. "Greetings, immortal!" The ancient voice was heard once again. Then it formed an illusory eye and directly enveloped Immortal Water's soul. Immortal Water trembled in fear, but soon the illusory eye disappeared. The people around knew that it was the immortal who was probing their souls. Sure enough, in the next moment the old voice sounded again. "It actually has the power of the purest yang. It seems that my chance has come. Go and bring those people here. Don't do anything to them. Be polite to them." Polite? Everyone was stunned. Immortal Water also said, "Immortal, he injured me and suppressed my body. I'm not reconciled." "Shut up, it's just a body. I'll help you rebuild it. They are my hope, especially that man with the purest yang energy. You must bring him here." In the end, there was a trace of excitement in the voice. "Go quickly. Do you dare to disobey my order?" Hearing this, the surrounding disciples all shook their heads. "Immortal, don't be angry. We'll go now." Although they didn't understand what the immortal meant, however, they did not dare to resist at all. Chapter 6068. In the boundless darkness, there was only one lamp that flickered with a faint light. Behind this lamp was a group of people. These people were Lin Xian and the others. At this moment, they were still walking in the darkness. They didn't know what was at the end of this hall. Is there anything they want in there? Some people had already begun to hesitate. Let's walk for another half a day. If we can't see the end after half a day, let's leave this place. Yes, this place was too strange. If those ghouls were to attack again, there might really be a martial monarch who would fall. Everyone agreed one after another. However, at this moment, the sound of footsteps suddenly appeared in front of them, and there was more than one. Oh no! Could it be that the people from the immortal sect have returned? Damn it, run. These people turned around and wanted to escape. However, the people from the immortal sect came faster than they had imagined. In an instant, they arrived in front of them. Lin Xian also frowned. It's indeed the people from the immortal sect. He saw the soul of the immortal water. He snorted coldly and took out the immortal slaying sword. "Everyone, it's useless to run. Only by fighting can we have a chance of survival." Lin Xian's body was full of fighting spirit. "Humph, kid, you're very lucky. We immortals want to see you. Come with us." The immortal water in front did not make a move. Instead, she said coldly. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. The others also cried out in alarm. "The immortal wants to see us? Could it be the sect master of the immortal sect? No way, he's really still alive. Is that a land immortal?" These people were extremely nervous. The immortal water said, "Kid, what's wrong? You don't dare?" "Junior brother, shut up." Another figure walked out from the crowd. It was a burly man. He said in a deep voice, "The immortal invites you over. I hope you cooperate obediently. Don't force us to make a move." "Should we go over?" The surrounding people were discussing animatedly. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The other party didn't make a move immediately, which meant that there was still a chance of survival. Perhaps there would be an unexpected opportunity. Therefore he nodded and said, "Okay, I'll go with you." "Please." The people from the immortal sect led the way. Lin Xian and the others followed. The people from the clans and sects behind said, "Should we go over?" It was too dangerous. If it's really a land immortal who set up a trap, we'll definitely die. Even the members of the Xia family were in a heated discussion. Xia Qinyu's eyes flickered as she walked over. If that brat dared to go over, why wouldn't he dare? Torch Dragon followed suit. "Let's go too." The others followed suit. This time, their speed was much faster. It didn't take long for them to see a brightly lit area ahead of them. There's light. Heavens, is this a celestial mountain? Countless people were stunned. Even the martial monarchs were stunned by the sudden appearance of such a mystical place in the boundless darkness. "Humph, a bunch of country bumpkins with no knowledge. This is our immortal sect, a sect founded by immortals. Why aren't you kneeling down to express your respect?" Immortal Water said proudly from the side. Lin Xian sneered. "What is this? I've seen places that are even more miraculous than this. Why do I have to kneel?" After that, he walked straight over. This brat was too arrogant. The people of the immortal sect also looked gloomy. If the immortal hadn't asked them to invite him over, they would have already attacked. What right did a quasi-emperor have to be so arrogant in front of them? After entering, everyone was surprised. Lin Xian, on the other hand, used his Rinnegan to search everywhere. The people of the immortal sect were even angrier. "How dare you? Who allowed you to be so presumptuous in the land of the immortal sect?" However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He was still searching. Suddenly he froze. That place! He rushed over. Xia Qinyu and Torch Dragon also followed, because they found that there was indeed a pool of water in front of them. Above the pool, there were endless rays of light surrounding it. It was crystal clear, like a celestial pool. This should be the celestial pool of creation, what they had been looking for. "You're not allowed to go over." The people of the immortal sect were completely furious. They gathered together, pulled out their swords, and shouted coldly, "The celestial pool is the sacred place of our immortal sect. You're not allowed to cross it. Otherwise, don't blame us for killing you." They were very powerful, and there was more than one great emperor. This immortal sect was indeed terrifying. The people from the other clans all stopped in their tracks. Even Lin Xian and the others stopped in their tracks. However, their eyes didn't leave. Lin Xian said, "Didn't you say that your immortal wanted to see me? Where is he? Let him come out. Boy, you're too reckless. How can you challenge an immortal? Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson." The burly man leading the group also walked forward. His body was surrounded by an extremely frightening destructive power. The great emperor's faces all changed. This man was so powerful. Was this the master of the immortal sect? Lin Xian was not afraid. He was even eager to try. "Well, I'll see what's so magical about your immortal sect." The sword qi on his body became even colder. However, at this moment, a voice came from the direction of the celestial pool. "Stop!" Then, everyone saw the water in the celestial pool boiling. A figure walked out of the celestial pool. It was an old man with the demeanor of an immortal. His body was spotless and surrounded by endless light, as if he was a holy spirit. "Greetings, immortal." When the people of the immortal sect saw this old man, they all knelt down and kowtowed. The leading man shouted coldly, "Why aren't you kneeling down and kowtowing to the immortal?" Many people of the families and sects were so scared that their legs went weak and they directly knelt on the ground. However, there were also some people who didn't kneel down. For example, Torch Dragon, Xia Qinyu, and the Corpse Emperor. They were all super great emperors who had cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi, so they wouldn't kneel down casually. Although the other great emperors didn't kneel down, their bodies were also trembling. The reason for that was because they were able to sense an unfathomable power from that old man. Was he really an immortal on earth? "Get up!" The old man waved his sleeve, and suddenly, thousands of rays of light danced in the air. All kinds of heaven and earth phenomena appeared, and an earth-shattering power swept over. The martial monarchs began to tremble. This power was too strong. Greetings, immortal on earth. The great emperors were high and mighty. However, in front of a real immortal, they could only bow their heads and kowtow. It was really the power of an immortal on earth. Xia Qinyu's body trembled. Torch Dragon also sucked in a breath of cold air. The Corpse Emperor was facing a great enemy. However, Lin Xian stood tall and straight. This was the immortal sect, at the level of an immortal on earth. An extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. He could feel an extremely powerful force. It was as if a big hand wanted to hold him down and make him kneel down. However, the sword energy in his body resonated and soared into the sky. In my life, I only kneel to my parents and my master. You are not qualified to make me kneel. It's over, this kid is dead for sure. The people of the surrounding families and sects also felt their scalps go numb. No matter how strong Linwoody was, it was impossible for him to be stronger than an immortal on Earth. This was an immortal who surpassed everything. He was high and mighty, a legendary figure. Legend had it that a real immortal could turn a great emperor into ashes with a wave of his hand. The Xia family once had such an immortal on Earth. That was why the Xia family was so powerful and swept through the 8 wastelands. Although the immortal on Earth of the Xia family had been sleeping for millions of years. However, no one dared to challenge the Xia family. This was the terror of an immortal. Now, Lin Xian, as a mere quasi-emperor, was challenging an immortal. Was he tired of living? Chapter 60-69. Good boy, you have courage. The elder in front smiled and said, You are indeed the one I look forward to. After he finished speaking, he looked at his surroundings again. The eyes of the surrounding martial monarchs flickered with excitement. Obviously, they all wanted to enter the creation immortal pool. At this moment, Xia Qinyu walked out and said, Senior, how should I address you? Is the creation immortal pool ahead? I am the demonic immortal. This is indeed the creation immortal pool. Hearing this, the people around were even more excited. This was the legendary immortal opportunity. Senior demonic immortal, can we enter the immortal flower pool? Zhu Long also walked over and asked nervously. The other great emperors also cupped their fists and said, Please help us. It's not impossible to enter the creation immortal pool, but you have to pass a test to see if you have the immortal opportunity. Test. The great emperors were stunned. The demonic immortal pointed at an inconspicuous stone tablet in the distance and said, Who can break that stone tablet? Whoever can enter the creation immortal pool. How difficult is that? I'll do it. A great emperor from the Hidden Thunder family roared. He stomped his foot and rushed out like a meteor. He punched out with world-destroying thunder. The terrifying power hit the stone tablet, causing an earth-shaking boom. However, the stone tablet didn't move. Instead, the great emperor was forced to retreat. His blood was boiling. How is this possible? The Hidden Thunder great emperor was stunned. The others were also shocked. The inconspicuous stone tablet had such power. I don't believe it. The Hidden Thunder great emperor roared and took out his extreme weapon. It was a thunder saber surrounded by lightning. It had the power to split the sky and earth. The saber slashed down and pierced through the 9 heavens. It could even split open several worlds. However, the stone tablet still didn't move. Instead, the light on the extreme weapon dimmed. After this attack, the Hidden Thunder Great Emperor was completely stunned. The others also sucked in a breath of cold air. This stone tablet is too mysterious. I'll do it. The great emperors from other families all tried. Then the wind, fire, thunder, lightning families, black clouds, and Yushui families all tried. The great emperors from each family all tried. However, without exception, they all failed. Those below the great emperor level were even more desperate. Even the great emperor didn't have a chance, let alone them. What kind of material was this stone tablet made of? Was it even more terrifying than an extreme weapon? With so many martial monarchs attacking one after another, even an extreme weapon would be shattered by now. Why wasn't there even the slightest crack on this rock? A bunch of trash. The corpse emperor snorted coldly and walked out. He had come for the fortune immortal pond. Therefore, there was no need for him to hide anything. As he walked out, 2 streams of immortal chi surged out from his body. The black robe was torn to shreds, revealing his true appearance. It's you. The emperor of the Xia family was enraged after reading it. Wasn't this the mysterious expert who had ambushed them earlier? Damn it. Xia Qinyu and the others looked gloomy, but they didn't make a move. However, the corpse emperor roared towards the sky. His body emitted a metallic light, because he had the strongest physique. At this moment, his hands danced as if they had merged with heaven and earth. He released a powerful force and charged forward. The attack was a lot stronger than the attacks of the martial monarchs before. After all, the corpse emperor was a super great emperor. With a boom, heaven and earth cracked. The surrounding great emperors felt their blood boil. Those below the great emperor level were so scared that they prostrated themselves on the ground. The people of the Xia family exclaimed, "This person is so strong." Xia Qinyu's face was also gloomy. One had to admit that the corpse emperor was really strong. He could suppress everything with a raise of his hand and shatter the 9 heavens with a single palm. However, even with such strength, he still couldn't break this stone tablet. This caused countless people to fall into despair. Could this stone tablet be unbreakable? Was it an immortal stone tablet? How could it be? The corpse emperor's brows were tightly knitted. He didn't hold back in that attack. He wanted to end the battle quickly. However, the result surprised him. It can't be, right? Xiajiu, Xueqi, and the others were also stunned. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. If the other great emperors couldn't break it, it could be understood that they weren't strong enough. But the corpse emperor was a super great emperor. Even he couldn't break it? The 9 netherworld beast also whispered, "This old man is playing with us, right?" At this moment, the dragon in his body said, "Boy, there's something wrong with this stone tablet. There's also something wrong with this demonic immortal." Lin Xian was taken aback. His expression didn't change, but he secretly asked through voice transmission, "What's the problem?" "This old man is trapped here. The stone tablet is the key to the array that trapped him." "What?" Lin Xian was stunned. "This old man is a demonic immortal. Who can trap an earth immortal?" "Then this array is too heaven-defying. Even a few heavenly masters can't do it." The dragon shook his head. "I don't know the details. However, he is indeed trapped in the celestial pool and can't come out. The key is probably the celestial pool. Be careful when you attack later." "Okay." Lin Xian nodded. His eyes flickered as he began to think about his next move. The corpse emperor in front was unwilling to give up. He attacked again, and an earth-shattering power erupted. Fortunately, this place was extremely mysterious. Otherwise, it would have been broken. But even so, it still made people's scalp tingle. The result was even more shocking. The stone tablet was still intact. When Xia Qinyu saw this scene, he sneered, "Trash, I think you're just SOO." "What did you say?" The corpse emperor was angry. He turned his head and attacked Xia Qinyu with a palm. Xia Qinyu raised his hand and punched. The two collided. A black hole quickly appeared, swallowing all directions. He sneered, "I said you're trash. Step back and see how I break it." "I want to see what you can do." The corpse emperor didn't believe it. Even he couldn't break it. What could the other party do? Xia Qinyu walked out. He took a deep breath, and the aura of the netherworld emerged on his body. A vast and powerful force suppressed all directions. At this moment, the sky shook and the earth shook. Everyone felt frightened. This was the patriarch of the Xia family, extremely powerful. The next moment, Xia Qinyu attacked. However, he didn't attack the stone tablet. Instead, he attacked Lin Xian. An extremely cold and sinister energy enveloped Lin Xian like a poisonous snake. Lin Xian felt it, and his hair stood on end. His expression changed drastically. "Oh no, this guy wants to kill me first." That was right. Xia Qinyu did have this idea. He had planned to kill Lin Xian after seeing the celestial creation pool, because Lin Xian was too arrogant and challenged him several times. He wouldn't allow such a genius to appear. So at this moment he attacked ruthlessly. This palm was called the Netherworld Soul Capturing Palm. Under this palm, the opponent's soul would be shattered, and there would be no possibility of resurrection. Husband, be careful. The expressions of Xueqi and the others also changed drastically. They wanted to attack, but it was too late. They could only feel an extremely vast power pressing down on them. It was as if the hand of a deity was pressing down on them, causing their bodies to tremble. As for the others, they were all stunned. They didn't expect Xia Qinyu's killing intent to be so strong. Chapter 60-70. At this critical moment, the demonic immortal behind him snorted coldly. He waved his hand, and a mysterious dharma appeared. Immediately, the 9 netherworld soul extinguishing palm was blocked. With a boom, the palm shattered. Xia Qinyu was also knocked back. He even shattered the void. His qi and blood were tumbling, and his face was stunned. It was blocked, and the one who did it was the demonic immortal. Why did Senior care about the business of a little ant? He didn't understand. The demonic immortal snorted coldly. Who allowed you to fight in front of me? Humph! His cold snort fell on Xia Qinyu like a divine thunder. Xia Qinyu cried out and spat out a mouthful of blood. Patriarch! The great emperors of the Xia family were even more frightened. They all ran over, as if they were facing a great enemy. Xia Qinyu waved his hand and stopped these people. He clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and said, Senior is right. I will remember and won't fight again. Since you are from the Xia family, I will spare you this time. If there is a next time, I will destroy your heart and soul. The demonic immortal's cold voice came. Everyone's hair stood on end. Was this an immortal? Too powerful. Just a voice injured the Xia family patriarch. What kind of power was this? This was a power that surpassed everything. The zombie emperor, torch dragon, and the others were also creeped out. Under this power, they didn't dare to do anything. Lin Xian's expression was even more solemn. Was this an immortal? Moreover, it was a sealed immortal. How strong would he be in his peak state? The Nirvana realm had more than one earth immortal. Was he going to face such a super strong master in the future? Power, he needed more power. He felt a sense of crisis. This time he must enter the creation immortal pool and improve the immortal chi seed to the extreme. Next, he had to prove his Tao and become an emperor as soon as possible. Otherwise, if he met the earth immortal of the Nirvana realm in the future, Lin Xian felt that he would most likely die. Boy, pay attention. This demonic immortal seems to pay special attention to you. His eyes are always on you. At this moment, Dalong spoke again. Lin Xian was stunned. Is there such a thing? Could it be because he came from outside the 9 underworlds? Thinking of this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It seemed that he could take a gamble when the time came. Off to the side, Xia Qinyu took out 2 medicinal pills and swallowed them. Magical laws and immortal qi swirled around her. He recovered from his injuries. At the same time, he said, Senior, I won't attack anymore. Can you let me continue to try and break this stone tablet? Sure. The monster immortal nodded. Xia Qinyu took a deep breath and took a step forward. Endless immortal light erupted from his body, forming an extremely terrifying storm. Then he formed a seal with his palm and slammed it forward. 9 serenities, starlight seal. This was an extremely terrifying palm technique. At this moment, once it was used, its power was boundless. Everyone was looking forward to it. This palm strike should be able to succeed. The black handprint, with a mysterious starlight, landed on the stone tablet and set off a huge wave. Dozens of black holes appeared in front of them, swallowing everything. Everyone was waiting. However, at this time, Xia Qinyu exclaimed, This is impossible. This was because he discovered that the stone tablet was still intact. What's going on? Xia Qinyu was stunned. The great emperor of the Xia family also shook his head crazily. Even the patriarch doesn't have a chance. The others were even more desperate. The corpse emperor sneered. You said I'm useless? I think you're the useless one. Aren't you the same? Can't you open it? What right do you have to laugh at others? You, Xia Qinyu, trembled with anger and wanted to attack again. However, thinking of what had happened before, he restrained himself. In front of this monster immortal, he couldn't be presumptuous. I don't believe it. Xia Qinyu attacked again. In the end, he even took out an extreme weapon. However, he still couldn't break the stone tablet. He couldn't even leave a crack on it. In the end, he could only give up helplessly. Then the torch dragon also tried, but it also failed. Lin Xian said to Xue Qi, Xiajuo, and the others, you guys should also try. Perhaps what you need to break this stone tablet is not strength, but opportunity. So, Xue Qi, Xiajuo, and the 9 netherworld beasts all tried. However, they still failed. In the end, even the quasi-emperors below the great emperor level tried. However, no one succeeded. In the end, almost everyone had made a move. They were all desperate and stunned. Could it be that no one could enter the creation, celestial pool? Then this time didn't they come in vain? How much had they experienced? Previously, half of their bloodline was sucked away by the bloodthirsty array. Then they encountered ghouls, and even great emperors fell. It wasn't easy to come here, but in the end they could only watch and couldn't enter. How could they be satisfied? However, no one dared to be presumptuous. After all, there was a monster immortal in front of them. The monster immortal in front of them was expressionless. It seemed that everything was within his expectations. His eyes turned and fell on Lin Xian. He said, Young man, you haven't made a move yet. Yes, the Gloomwater clan leader also exclaimed. Lin Gongzi hasn't made a move yet. He might have a chance. The Dark Clouds clan leader shook his head. Impossible. Even the Xia clan leader, the Torch Dragon, a super great emperor, failed. No matter how strong he is, I'm afraid he won't succeed. I think he might not have a chance. All kinds of discussions came. The people of the Xia clan sneered, he will never succeed. That's right, who does he think he is? Even our clan leader failed. He has no chance. Even Xue Qi, the zombie emperor, and the others looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled and said, I can make a move, but you have to let me enter the creation celestial pool first. Huh. Everyone was stunned after hearing this. Is this guy crazy? How dare he negotiate with the monster immortal? Isn't he afraid of being slapped to death by the monster immortal? Xia Qinyu also sneered, stupid thing. It seemed that the monster immortal could kill him without him making a move. Even the monster immortal was stunned. Oh, are you making a request of me? Young man, do you know what kind of existence you are facing? The monster immortal snorted, and endless starlight suddenly bloomed in his eyes. An unimaginable power burst out and enveloped the world. Everyone trembled, and their faces were filled with despair. What kind of power is this? They couldn't resist at all. Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. He clenched his fists and exerted his physique to the extreme. Then he said, You can't kill me, and I don't think you will kill me. If you want me to make a move, it's very simple. Let me enter the creation celestial pool first. When I get the opportunity, I will save you. Otherwise, I would rather give up the creation celestial pool than make a move. To be honest, Lin Xian was also very nervous now. He gambled again. He gambled that the other party was waiting for him. Perhaps he was the key to breaking the array. Those people exclaimed, This kid is too arrogant. Lin Gongzi, don't you want to live anymore? The people of the Xia clan all sneered, He's dead. He's definitely dead. They gloated. They wanted to see with their own eyes how the other party died. What a pity. Zhu Long also sighed. Originally, he had some ideas about Lin Xian, but now his plan was probably in vain. Chapter 6071. Everyone thought that Lin Xian had caused a big trouble. If he offended an Earth Immortal, he would be slapped to death. However, the situation was beyond everyone's expectations. The Earth Immortal was silent and didn't make a move. How was this possible? The people of the Xia family went crazy. Would the Earth Immortal spare him? Xia Qianyu's face was also ugly. Previously, he was injured by the Earth Immortal when he made a move. Now, the Earth Immortal directly challenged him, and his ending should be worse than death. Why didn't he make a move? Damn it, this brat's luck is too good. Xueqi and the others were also uneasy. As long as the other party made a move, they would do everything they could to protect Lin Xian. Young man, you are very bold. At this moment, the demonic immortal spoke. As soon as his voice came out, the terrifying pressure that filled the sky disappeared. Lin Xian smiled. He knew that he had made the right bet. Sure enough, the demonic immortal said, you can come in, but you have to swear. Swear with your Tao heart that after entering the creation immortal pool, you must break the stone tablet. No problem. Lin Xian knew that this was his only chance. As an immortal, it was already incredible that he had made such a concession. Kid, are you sure you want to save him? Dalong said. Lin Xian sighed. I have no choice. Otherwise, I can't even enter the creation immortal pool. Wealth came from danger. He could only take one step at a time. He didn't know whether it was a blessing or a curse to release the sealed Earth Immortal. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked towards the creation celestial pool before him. The surrounding people all exclaimed, "Oh my God, he succeeded!" He could really enter the creation immortal pool. Why? Why didn't I make such a request? I could have gone in first and then made a move. Many great emperors were extremely regretful. Xia, Qianyu, Zhulong, and the others were trembling with anger. Senior, why? Senior, please give us a chance. After we enter the creation immortal pool, our strength will increase greatly, and we will definitely be able to break the stone tablet. You don't have the ability. The demonic immortal said coldly. He directly refused. Damn it, why? The first elder and the others asked, Patriarch, should we make a move? We can join forces now, all the emperors. Xia Qianyu's heart skipped a beat, but after thinking about it, he still didn't dare to make a move. Land immortals were too terrifying. If they joined forces with others to make a move, they would be completely offending the other party. That was a falling out. If they failed, everyone would die. It had been extremely difficult for him to reach his current level of cultivation. He did not wish to take such a risk. Therefore, he could only send a telepathic message. Don't do it. Wait a little longer. No one dared to make a move. They could only watch as Lin Xian walked towards the creation celestial pool. Lin Xian took a deep breath when he arrived at the creation immortal pond. He could feel the boundless power within the pond. In the next moment, he walked in. Endless laws and immortal qi surrounded him. Lin Xian sighed softly. What a terrifying place. Even a great emperor would be able to obtain unimaginable benefits by cultivating here. Next, he began to cultivate with all his might. He had completely entered the fortune immortal pond. The immortal qi seed in his left eye was like a whirlpool, crazily absorbing the surrounding energy. Lin Xian felt very comfortable. His body was filled with power. Just like that, Lin Xian began to cultivate. The monster immortal stood on the surface of the lake. His eyes flickered. No one knew what he was thinking. On the other side, Xueqi and the others were also waiting nervously. The angriest ones were the Xia family and the other great emperors. Now, they could only watch helplessly. They were unwilling to accept this. They were really unwilling to accept this. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. Lin Xian didn't seem to have any intention of waking up. Damn it. The great elder gritted his teeth. Could it be that we have to wait here while he cultivates for 10 years? The other great emperors were also dissatisfied. After all, no one could remain calm in front of such a heavenly treasure. The monster immortal snorted coldly. No one asked you to wait. If you're not satisfied, you can leave. Otherwise, I'll send you to hell. Hearing this, no one dared to say anything. If they left, they wouldn't, because if they stayed here, they might still have a chance. But if they left, they would have nothing. The monster immortal was very calm. He didn't seem to be in a hurry at all. This was because he knew that although the creation celestial pool had a mysterious power that could improve the cultivation of great emperors, but the power of this place couldn't be absorbed forever. Otherwise, the body wouldn't be able to take it. With Lin Xian's cultivation, he was only the 10-crown king. He wouldn't be able to stay here for long. 1 month should be his limit. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed, and he still hadn't come out. This surprised the monster immortal. Did he misjudge? Who would have thought that his limit was even longer than I had imagined? Interesting. He's a genius who hasn't been born yet. To be praised by an immortal. One could imagine how powerful Lin Xian's talent was. However, no matter how strong he was, there was still a limit. In the monster immortal's opinion, it would be 2 months at most. However, even after 3 months, Lin Xian still didn't seem to have any intention of coming out. The monster immortal couldn't stay calm anymore. He snorted coldly. I want to see how long you can stay here. Even a great emperor couldn't stay here for 3 months. He had indeed underestimated Lin Xian. Lin Xian had too many trump cards. Therefore, Lin Xian could stay in the creation celestial pool for a longer period of time. However, on the 5th month, Lin Xian opened his eyes. This was already his limit. His immortal chi seed had reached the peak. If it was outside under normal circumstances, he might not reach the peak even after cultivating for 500 years. But now, 5 months was greatly shortened. The immortal chi seed was saturated and couldn't absorb anymore. The next step was to prove his Tao and break through. However, Lin Xian wouldn't do this step for the time being. Therefore, he didn't absorb the power of the creation's celestial pool. His current strength had become much stronger than before. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Was he going to go out? His eyes flashed. How could he crack the stone tablet after going out? To be honest, he wasn't very confident. However, at this moment, Dalong said, "Kid, wait. There seems to be something else in the creation celestial pool. I feel an unusual aura." Lin Xian froze when he heard this. He didn't go out immediately. Instead, he opened his Rinnegan and carefully examined it. He even flew towards the bottom of the creation celestial pool. This creation celestial pool was very deep and seemed to have no end. With his strong physique, Lin Xian kept going down. Finally, he saw something. At this moment, Lin Xian was completely stunned. There was a pagoda below. It was only a meter tall and exquisite, and above the pagoda, the immortal chi was extremely terrifying. What was this thing? Immortal pagoda. There was such a mysterious pagoda under the creation celestial pool. Lin Xian was ecstatic. Take it away. This was his first thought, because he felt that this thing seemed to be even more mysterious than the creation celestial pool. Thinking of this, he waved his hand. He grabbed towards the immortal pagoda below. Chapter 6072. Lin Xian's palm blossomed with a piercing light, as if it was the hand of a war god, grabbing downwards. But just as he approached the immortal tower, his palm was blocked. Not only that, there was a super strong force above the immortal tower that blasted over, shattering his palm. His expression changed, and he quickly retracted his palm. His brows furrowed. He frowned. What's going on? This immortal tower was too terrifying. DeLong said, "Kid, you have to be careful. The immortal chi above this immortal tower is extremely terrifying. I'm afraid this is something incredible." In fact, Lin Xian could feel the terrifying aura on it, even without DeLong's warning. With his current strength, it would be difficult for him to get close. DeLong's sword soul flew out like a dragon's shadow, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. A pair of dragon eyes fell on the immortal tower below. Then it exclaimed, "Could it be that thing?" "What is this?" "DeLong, do you know?" Lin Xian was surprised. DeLong nodded. This was an incredible thing. This was an immortal artifact. I only saw it once back then, and it was said that its whereabouts were unknown. I didn't expect it to appear here. Is this thing very powerful? Lin Xian was surprised. Immortal artifact. That's something even more terrifying than an extreme Dao weapon, right? Could it be the weapon of an Earth immortal? It's very powerful and can be said to be extremely terrifying. DeLong's eyes flickered. It seemed to recall some ancient battles. It said, "This is the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda, which can subdue all demons and ghosts." No wonder the demonic immortals were suppressed here. It was because of this pagoda. Lin Xian also understood, but his brows furrowed even tighter. "Can I open an immortal artifact? Others may not be able to, but you might." DeLong said, "Do you still remember the universe ring you dug out from the ancient land? With that thing, you can mobilize some of the power above the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. Although it can't be completely opened, it's enough to crack the stone tablet." "Really?" Lin Xian was overjoyed. In this way, could he also use it to threaten the demonic immortals? "That's right." DeLong nodded. "With the power of the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda, the demonic immortals won't dare to attack you. Moreover, there was one more thing. The Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda had appeared. If it could appear again, the mysterious yellow pagoda of the heaven and earth would also appear. You might really be able to fuse with the power of an immortal." "Really?" Lin Xian was even more shocked now. This was the most troublesome thing for him right now. "Tell me in detail." DeLong said, "The black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth is an extremely terrifying divine artifact. It is as famous as the Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda. One was an immortal artifact, and the other was a divine artifact. They both possess the power of gods and immortals. You also cultivated Tai Chi Taiji could manifest all things, and naturally it could contain the power of gods and immortals. This is your only chance. Although no one has done it before, and I don't know the success rate, at least there are more chances than you blindly fusing. That's great, I finally know a path." Lin Xian clenched his fists. He had been cultivating the Taiji diagram all this time. The Seven Treasures' exquisite pagoda was right in front of him. Next, he just needed to find the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda. Thinking of this, Lin Xian was overjoyed. He took a deep breath and calmed himself down. Another 3 days passed. Lin Xian said, "Okay, I'm ready to go out." The power of the immortal Qi seed had reached its peak. Next, Lin Xian didn't need to stay here. He was going to leave and look for the black-yellow pagoda. The people outside were getting impatient. Even the demonic immortals were frowning. It had been almost half a year, and the other party still hadn't come out. Could he have died inside? Because he didn't believe that a person could absorb for half a year inside. How much power did you have to absorb? Even the great emperor couldn't stay for so long. He had once calculated that if he wanted to go out, he had to wait for someone outside the 9 serenities. Only then could he save him. Now Lin Xian was that person. He wouldn't allow the other party to die. His figure flickered, and he was about to enter the immortal pool to look for the other party. But at this moment, the water in the immortal pool boiled. Then it parted to both sides, and a passage appeared. Lin Xian walked out of the immortal pool. The 9 netherworld beast exclaimed. Xueqi and the others all looked up. The other great emperors also did the same. Everyone's eyes fell on Lin Xian. Her husband's aura had become stronger. Xueqi was overjoyed. The corpse emperor was incomparably envious. As for Xia Qianyu and the other members of the Xia family, they were clenching their teeth so hard that they almost broke. The surrounding people were also exclaiming, "Half a year, this is comparable to the amount of bitter cultivation outside. No, why do I feel that he's still a quasi-emperor? He doesn't show any signs of breaking through to the great emperor realm. Xia Qinyu snorted coldly. What a waste. After absorbing the immortal pool for half a year, he still hasn't broken through to the great emperor realm. How trashy is his talent? The great elder also sighed. If it was given to you, you might be able to break through and become an earth immortal. They were very unwilling. How could they know that it wasn't that Lin Xian hadn't broken through to the great emperor realm? Lin Xian wanted to walk a path that no one had ever walked before. If it was a single breakthrough, he would have been able to use the power of the divine fire to break through. This time, he could also use the power of the immortal energy, seed, to break through. However, he didn't do so, because he wanted to walk the path of an immortal. He wanted to have the divine fire and immortal energy at the same time. He wanted to be the only one and surpass everything. Only in this way could he be qualified to compete with the Nirvana realm. There was no other way. The Nirvana realm was too powerful. The powerhouses of the Nirvana realm had lived for countless years. Their foundation and accumulation were not something that he could compare with. Only by fusing with the power of an immortal could he have the power to fight. You finally came out, the monster immortal said in surprise. He didn't care whether Lin Xian could break through or not. What he cared about was that Lin Xian was going to help him break the stone tablet. Although he was also very confused. How is he going to break the stone tablet? Lin Xian smiled. Senior, I've made you wait for a long time. Senior, don't worry. I'll break the seal and help you out. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. The monster immortal's pupils constricted. His eyes were fixed on Lin Xian. Young man, what are you talking about? Lin Xian said, Senior, aren't you sealed here? Of course I'm going to save you. What? Sealed? Xia Qinyu jumped up. Who can seal a land immortal? This was impossible. He roared crazily. Torch Dragon was also dumbfounded. The other great emperors were also listening to a book from heaven. How did you know? A hint of coldness appeared in the monster immortal's eyes. Even the great emperors with 2 strands of immortal energy couldn't find it. How did the other party know? Lin Xian smiled. I saw the immortal tower under the creation immortal pool. Senior, you were suppressed by the immortal tower, right? The monster immortal was completely stunned. This immortal tower, he also found it. That place was definitely not something a quasi-emperor could reach. Xia, Qinyu, and Torch Dragon exclaimed, There are treasures in the creation immortal pool. Is the immortal tower a weapon of an immortal? It was unbelievable. Their eyes were red. They really wanted to go down and find out. Chapter 6073. Young man, you've really surprised me. It's been 500,000 years. In the past 500,000 years, people from the outside have come in 36 times. Among them, there was no lack of great emperors with 2 strands of immortal qi. However, no one could help me leave. They couldn't even find the immortal pagoda. Only you found it. Do it. As long as you can save me. What do you want? I can promise you anything. I can give you endless glory and wealth. I can give you heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I can even let you become a great emperor immediately. I can also help you conquer the world and make you the Lord of 9 serenities. Every word of the immortal monster made people's blood boil. Even the great emperors were excited. These things were also what they had dreamed of. However, Lin Xian shook his head. Senior, I don't want any of these. I want a promise from you. You're not allowed to attack me or my companions. Why? Young man, don't you trust me? A strange light bloomed in the immortal monster's eyes. Lin Xian said, I just want a guarantee. This way, I can better break the seal for you. Okay. The immortal monster nodded. I can swear that I won't attack you or your companions. Hearing this oath, the 9 serenities, Beast, Xiajiao, and the others all breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Xian also smiled. Senior, please wait a moment. I'll break the seal for you. Speaking of this, Lin Xian entered the fortune immortal pool again. Everyone was looking forward to it. How was Lin Wuyi going to break the seal? So many great emperors had failed. What could he do? However, they couldn't see clearly. The fortune immortal pool had endless power. Even the great emperor's eyes were blocked. They could only wait. The immortal monster's eyes bloomed like a sharp sword, piercing through the fortune immortal pool. He wanted to see everything clearly. However, at this moment, the water in the fortune immortal pool boiled violently. At the same time, Lin Xian's voice sounded. "Senior, can you give me some privacy?" "No problem." Hearing this, the immortal monster immediately looked away. As for this kid's secret, he had plenty of opportunities to explore it in the future. Now he'd better wait and break the seal. He had been sealed here for 500,000 years and had had enough. He didn't want to stay here any longer. He wanted to leave. He had a lot of things to do. When Lin Xian arrived at the bottom of the celestial lake of good fortune, he took a deep breath. He took out the universe ring. Would it work? Lin Xian activated the power of the universe ring. Since this item was dug out from the ancient land, it was definitely a treasure. But whose weapon was it? I don't know. Why was the universe ring connected to the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda? Lin Xian was even more confused. This might be a primordial secret, or even a primordial secret. As expected, as soon as the universe ring appeared, the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda below began to shake. The immortal qi above it spun continuously and swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked. Every single strand of immortal qi was equivalent to the power of a great emperor. With so many people attacking at the same time, even if it was him, if he was hit, he would die without a doubt. But fortunately, the immortal qi did not attack him. It only circled around the universe ring. It was really effective. Lin Xian was overjoyed. He waved his hand, and the universe ring flew into the distance. In the next moment, he left the celestial lake of good fortune and flew towards the stone tablet in the distance. It hit the stone tablet. The universe ring was already incomparably hard. In addition, it was surrounded by several strands of immortal qi. In an instant, it immediately shattered the stone tablet. Everyone only saw a flash of golden light. Then an earth-shattering roar sounded, and countless gravel danced in the air. A terrifying black hole appeared between heaven and earth. The vast power made the great emperor's hair stand on end. Was it really shattered? Xia Qinyu was dumbfounded. Zhu Long also sucked in a breath of cold air. It was too unbelievable. The great emperors were even more stunned. He did it. Lin Wuyi really did it. What exactly was that golden light? They were extremely puzzled. But they did not have time to think too much, because an earth-shattering roar sounded. Above the celestial lake of good fortune, the demon immortal who had been holding his hands behind his back suddenly roared into the sky. A powerful force swept out in all directions with him as the center. Retreat quickly. At this moment, all the major families in the 9th underworld frantically retreated. Even the Xia family was running away in a frenzy. They did not dare to stay at all. Everyone left. The whole place fell apart. An endless storm also set off in the celestial lake of good fortune. It was as if a god had descended. This terrifying aura lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. When this power disappeared, everyone looked up at the sky. A figure walked out of the void. It was the old man from before. However, the aura on his body was completely different. Before this, he had the demeanor of an immortal and amiable. But now his body was filled with a biting cold aura. His eyes were like a peerless immortal sword. Even the great emperors did not dare to look him in the eye. He was so powerful that he was invincible. This was the thought in everyone's mind, whether it was the corpse emperor, Zhu Long, or Xia Qinyu. At this moment, in front of the other party, they all lowered their heads deeply. The demon immortal waved his finger, and a sword chi fell, splitting the celestial lake of good fortune in half. Under the celestial lake of good fortune, everyone saw a young figure emerge. It was Lin Wuti. At this moment, Lin Wuti also frowned. The other party's aura was too strong. With a wave of his hand, he held the universe ring in his hand. He rose into the air and came to the sky. He said, "Senior, I helped you break the seal. You're out. We don't owe each other anything. Goodbye." After that, Lin Xian wanted to leave. Wait. At this moment, the demon immortal spoke in a deep voice. Lin Xian stopped in his tracks. His heart thumped. He said, "Senior, is there anything else? Young man, you helped me out. This is a great favor to me. How can I bear to let you leave like this? Stay by my side for a while. I'll teach you some immortal techniques and give you some heavenly treasures to repay your kindness to me." Hearing this, countless people were envious. However, Lin Xian shook his head. "No need, Senior. It's already a great opportunity for me to enter the celestial lake of good fortune. I don't dare to ask for anything else. Goodbye." Lin Xian didn't dare to be with such an old monster. What kind of joke was this? This guy had been sealed before, so he was afraid. Now that the seal was gone, who could suppress him? It was better to leave first. Buzz! Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he wanted to leave. However, in the next moment, the void in front of him broke open, and the demon immortal walked out again. It was so fast. Lin Xian was stunned. He had never seen this kind of speed. Even the Rinnegan couldn't see it. After all, the difference in cultivation level between the two sides was too great. Not to mention him. Even Xia Qinyu and the others couldn't keep up with this kind of speed. Below the Great Emperor, everyone was an ant. However, in front of the immortal, the Great Emperor was also an ant. The demon immortal smiled. He stared at Lin Xian and said, "Young man, don't refuse my kindness. You'd better come with me." There was a commanding tone in his voice. Chapter 6074. Everyone was shocked by this scene. The demonic immortal wanted to take Lin Xian away? Unbelievable. Xue Qi and the others frowned. As for Xia Qinyu and the others, they laughed. Humph, it seems that this kid is finished. They knew that the demonic immortal had set his eyes on him. Being targeted by an earth immortal, it would be difficult for him to escape in this lifetime. What do you want? Just say it. Lin Xian's face also darkened, and a hint of anger appeared in his eyes. Young man, you are very smart. I want to know your secret. How did you use the power of the immortal tower? Even I can't use that kind of power. Tell me, and I will spare your life. What if I don't tell you? Lin Xian shook his head. If you don't tell me, then don't blame me for being rude. A biting, cold-killing intent appeared on the demonic immortal's body. This aura made everyone feel as if they had fallen into an abyss. Even the corpse emperor's expression changed drastically. The people of the Xia family were ecstatic. Great, this kid is really dead. Lin Xian frowned. He said, "You swore that you wouldn't attack me. Are you going to break your oath? Even if you are an earth immortal, this oath still has restrictions on you." "Yes, I did swear that I wouldn't attack you and your companions, but I can move my feet." At this moment, the demonic immortal smiled very slyly. "Not to mention moving my feet, even if I move my head or my eyes, except for my hands, any power in my body is enough to kill you. What do you have to compete with me? Heavens, I didn't know it could be like this." The surrounding great emperors were all stunned. He didn't attack because he didn't want him to attack. They found that this demonic immortal seemed to be very shameless. Sure enough, Lin Xian's face darkened. "Old thing, you are too shameless. Immortals can't be humiliated." A biting cold immortal light burst out from the demonic immortal's eyes. It rushed forward and directly enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt as if he was facing a great enemy. He felt as if his body was about to be torn apart. It was too powerful. The Earth Immortal was far stronger than him. He didn't dare to be careless. He pushed his body to the extreme. In an instant, he took out the sky-swallowing jar. Countless vortexes were created. At the same time, dragon-shaped sword Qi covered his body. Just as he finished doing all this, the immortal light shot over. Lin Xian was sent flying. The black vortex was penetrated and cracks appeared on its body. Even some of the sword Qi was shattered. Boom! A huge crack appeared and swallowed Lin Wuti. Not good. Xue Qi and the others cried out in alarm, and they wanted to rush over. However, they were obstructed by the corpse emperor. Don't attack. Do you all want to die? Damn it. Xia Jiao gritted his teeth. Was he dead? The others were even more shocked. How miraculous was this young man? He could even shatter the stone tablet. But so what? He still couldn't block the move of an Earth Immortal. In fact, a single glance from him was enough to kill a person. Ha, that's great, he's dead. The Grand Elder of the Xia family and the others laughed. Xia Qinyu snorted coldly. How can you provoke an Earth Immortal? The demonic immortal said, I only moved my eyes, I didn't do anything. I didn't break the oath. In the next moment, he shouted coldly, Soul, come! In his opinion, Lin Xian was already dead. He wanted to summon the remaining soul of the other party. Between heaven and earth, demonic clouds filled the air. It was extremely terrifying as it surged towards the space cracks. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from the space cracks. Old thing, it's not that easy for you to kill me. Still alive? The demonic immortal was stunned, and so were the others. The smile on the Grand Elder of the Xia family froze. Impossible. They roared. How could he still be alive after being hit by an Earth Immortal? Even a great emperor couldn't do it. The demonic immortal waved his hand and tore the world in half. Then, everyone saw a figure covered in blood appear in front of them. Husband. Xue Qi rose into the air and came to Lin Xian's side. Are you okay? Husband, let's fuse the 9 yin and 9 yang. Lin Xian shook his head. Don't worry, Cher. I won't die yet. You go down and watch the battle first. The 9 yin and 9 yang can't do anything to him. However, I have a way to restrain him. Lin Xian's eyes shone with an extremely cold light. Indeed, their 9 yin and 9 yang could instantly shatter a great emperor. However, the enemy in front of him was an Earth Immortal. He was an immortal. He had surpassed the great emperor. His strength was terrifying and unimaginable. If it were any other situation, Lin Xian wouldn't dare to fight with him. However, in this place he was fearless, because he had the power of the Immortal Tower. This was something he had already thought about before he made his move. He had also thought of this scene. What if the other party went back on his word? Then he would use the power of the Immortal Tower. Lin Xian waved his hand, took out the universe ring, and held it in his hand. Husband, be careful. Xue Qi retreated into the distance. Xia Jiao said, Do you really not need us to join forces? The corpse emperor shook his head. If this kid isn't stupid, he should run away immediately. Otherwise, even if all of us join forces, we won't be a match for him. If he wants to fight now, I think he should have some trump cards, right? The other great emperors were also surprised. How did he survive? And I can't resist the gaze of an immortal. How could he resist it? What trump card does this kid have? The demon immortal's gaze also darkened. Kid, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to be alive. Did you know? Even a great emperor with 2 strands of immortal qi would be seriously injured by my gaze. I'm getting more and more interested in you. I want to see what your trump card is. Old thing, you're too conceited. Do you really think that I can't do anything to you just because you're an Earth Immortal? Before saving you, I thought of this possibility. I have a countermeasure. Lin Xian took a deep breath and activated the universe ring. The demon immortal shook his head. You're too ignorant. All your trump cards are vulnerable in front of me. Today, I'll let you know what an immortal is." The demon immortal still didn't make a move, because he had made an oath. However, when he took a step forward, the immortal chi on his body suddenly erupted. It was 3 strands of immortal chi that surrounded him, causing the 9 heavens and 10 lands to tremble violently. At this moment, a vast amount of energy surged forth. Retreat. The zombie emperor's expression changed drastically. The other great emperors also retreated. In front of this absolute power, no one could resist it. Lin Xian's sword qi soared into the sky as if he had turned into a sword god. However, in front of this absolute power, he kept swaying. He was like a small boat in a storm that would capsize at any time. However, at this moment, the universe ring in his hand shone brightly. At the same time, in the creation immortal pool below, there was also a stormy wave. The immortal pagoda in the creation immortal pool shook again, and immortal chi surged out. They tore the immortal pool apart and flew into the void. Each strand of immortal chi was incomparably thick and terrifying. They surrounded the universe ring, blooming with bright light. What is this? What a terrifying power! In the distance, the great emperors exclaimed when they saw the scene. The people of the Xia family were even more shocked. Xia Qianyu's eyes were like fire as he stared at that thing. This is power that surpasses the great emperors. How can this kid have it? This is the power of the immortal pagoda. The demon immortal also exclaimed. There was an extremely terrifying demonic fire in his eyes that was jumping. He smiled. His smile was very happy. I understand now. Your secret must be this weapon. He looked at the universe ring and said, if I get this weapon, I can also use the power of the immortal pagoda. Now, I can kill you without any scruples. Chapter 6075. The demon immortal's eyes flickered with a cold light. It was a kind of arrogance and indifference that looked down on the common people. Previously, he didn't kill Lin Xian because Lin Xian was useful to him. Now that the other party had become a useless person, he wouldn't have any regrets. It was over. The demon immortal opened his mouth and spat out a stream of immortal chi, which turned into an immortal river that danced in the wind. It was as if it had transformed into a water dragon, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Lin Xian's expression was cold, and he didn't say a word. He clenched the universe ring and waved it fiercely. The universe ring carried the power of the immortal tower and surged forward. The two collided, making an earth-shattering sound of destruction. The void shattered, like a divine drum shaking, shocking people's souls. Lin Xian kept retreating. However, this time he blocked the other party's attack. So what if it was an earth immortal? Lin Xian laughed. You're just S.O. How is this possible? The great emperors in the distance were all stunned. Even if all of them joined forces, they wouldn't dare to compete with this demon immortal. But now, a young man below the great emperor actually blocked the attack of an earth immortal. It was incredible. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it at all. The first elder exclaimed, "Is this guy going to defy the heavens?" Xia Qianyu also gritted her teeth. Impossible. Just watch. The means of an earth immortal are far beyond our expectations. This kid absolutely can't survive. The demon immortal's face was also cold. The power of the immortal tower could actually allow a quasi-emperor to contend with him. If he got it, how terrifying would it be? No one in the 9 serenities would be his match. He could even leave the 9 serenities and go to a wider universe, to conquer all the worlds in the universe. Thinking of this, he became excited. In the next moment, he attacked again. With his hands behind his back, his hair suddenly grew long, as if it had turned into a black waterfall sweeping forward. Every strand of hair that fell down could injure a great emperor. Countless black hair danced together, which was really terrifying. Lin Xian waved the universe ring to block it. He was shaken and kept retreating, his blood and chi tumbling. He could feel that some of the bones in his body were broken. There was nothing he could do about it. Even though he had the universe ring and the power of the immortal pagoda, he had no choice. However, the difference in cultivation between the two was simply too great. It was already a heaven-defying feat for Lin Xian to be able to block it. It would be very difficult for him to win. The demon immortal was overjoyed. He continued to use his hair to attack his opponent. He said, "Kid, it's useless. Your strength is not enough to support the immortal tower. You can only mobilize 1/10,000th of the immortal pagoda's power. Therefore, you won't be able to hold on for long. When I catch you, I'll let you know the consequences of going against me." His smile was so sinister that it made people's scalps tingle. Everyone knew that Lin Wuti was finished. The 9 netherworld beast was so scared that its face turned pale. He said, "Why don't we run away now? Otherwise, we won't be able to escape later." "Shut up." Xue Qi snorted coldly. "My husband won't lose. My husband has never lost before." That was in the past. The 9 netherworld beast shook its head. "How can you not lose in this world? Besides, you're facing an immortal. It's not shameful to lose to an immortal." Every time they collided in the sky, a terrifying black hole would appear. Lin Xian felt that if this continued, his situation would be very bad. It seemed that he had to find a way to leave this place first. With the immortal tower's power, he wouldn't die. However, it would be very difficult for him to defeat his opponent. The demon immortal was right. The gap between the two of them was very big. He had to leave this place and think of a way to reach the Dao validation realm. Once he succeeded in confirming his Dao, Lin Xian's strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. Now his immortal Qi seed had reached its peak and he had achieved his goal. Therefore, he couldn't fight for a long time. Lin Xian quickly retreated. At the same time, he secretly sent a voice transmission to Xue Qi and the others, asking them to leave first. Xue Qi and the others retreated. The demon immortal saw their actions and sneered, "Where do you think you're going?" Demonic Qi spread out from his body and enveloped the whole world. "Today, none of you will be able to leave." Not good. At this moment, not only the 9 netherworld beasts, but also Xue Qi and the others had ugly expressions. The other great emperors were also in despair. Were they also being targeted? "Senior, we don't dare to go against you." Some people even knelt down and said, "Senior, please show mercy and let us go." The demon immortal didn't care about the others. In his eyes, there was only Lin Xian, a small ant. After fighting for so long, he still couldn't defeat his opponent. This made him feel very ashamed. He was a demon immortal, a high and mighty demon immortal. How could he not kill an ant? His hair continued to spiral, turning into a black canopy that pressed down mercilessly. The light on the universe ring dimmed, and several bones in Lin Xian's body were broken. Lin Xian raised his head and roared angrily. Sword Qi surged out of his body. At the same time, he took out another item. It was a stone coffin. It was very simple and unadorned. There was a mysterious pattern on it. Although it didn't emit any light, it had a great power. One could tell at a glance that it wasn't an ordinary item. "It's useless, kid. Apart from the immortal tower's power, nothing else can affect me." The demon immortal sneered, and the black curtain pressed down on the stone coffin. The stone coffin shook and then fell apart. Sure enough, everyone shook their heads. Lin Wuti was no longer able to hold on. After the stone coffin was broken, the other party would definitely die. However, the situation changed again. A bone emerged from the stone coffin. This bone was extremely white, and there was a mysterious light flickering on it. It blocked the black curtain. This was impossible. How could a bone possess such power? Whose bone was this? Everyone was stunned. Butian exclaimed, "This is the stone coffin I gave Big Brother." The others were also surprised. They didn't understand. Whose bone could have such power? The demon immortal snorted coldly. A mere dead man's bone dares to be arrogant in front of me? Suppress it. He spat out a mouthful of innate demon chi, which turned into a cage and slapped directly on the white bone. At the same time, the black hair turned into a curtain that shrouded down. He threw the white bone into the creation immortal pool. It formed countless seals. You're just an ant. How can you compete with me? Although this process was short, Lin Xian had already taken this opportunity to go far away. Looking at this scene, his eyes flickered. Was the bone suppressed? This was not a good thing. However, he soon smiled. I can use this opportunity to fight back. He said, Do you know whose bone this is? Hurry up and hand it over obediently, then kneel on the ground and kowtow to apologize. Otherwise, you're dead. You want me to kneel down and apologize with this bone? The demon immortal laughed. Young man, are you scared out of your wits? What in the world can make me afraid? Even if it's the bone of God, I'm not afraid. Is that so? Lin Xian smiled. Then let me tell you, this bone is not the bone of God. It's the bone of the founder of the Yuhua immortal dynasty, Di Zun. How dare you insult his bone and seal it? You've already offended the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Wait to bear the anger of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Chapter 6076. Lin Xian's voice rang out, shocking everyone once again. Was this the bone of the Di Zun? The founder of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Heavens, these great emperors were all stunned. Even the faces of the Xia family changed drastically. How could this kid have such a treasure? How could they not know about the Yuhua immortal dynasty? That was a terrifying existence that wanted to ascend together with them back then, although they failed later on. However, this bold idea surpassed everything. Until now, no one dared to be the second Yuhua immortal dynasty. As for the Di Zun, he was even more terrifying back then. He founded the immortal dynasty and wanted everyone in the immortal dynasty to become immortals. What kind of method was this? This meant that the other party was probably already at the level of an earth immortal. Moreover, he wanted everyone to become an earth immortal. Others might not know, but Xia Qinyu knew very well that their Xia family had an earth immortal. Back then, when their Xia family was at its peak, this earth immortal was at his peak. Back then, the earth immortal led their Xia family out of the Nine Nether and fought in the myriad worlds, wanting to sweep everything and become the overlord. Back then, the goal of the earth immortal was only to become the overlord, while the goal of the Di Zun was for everyone to become immortals. The gap between the two was like the difference between clouds and mud. One could imagine how powerful this Di Zun was. He was definitely far stronger than their patriarch. The demon immortal's face became even more ugly. As if he had eaten a dead fly, he couldn't speak of his bitterness. Damn brat, how dare you trick me? He was so angry that his whole body trembled. To be honest, swearing not to kill the other party was nothing in the eyes of the demon immortal. However, offending the Yuhua immortal dynasty made him feel uneasy, especially when he offended the founder of the Yuhua immortal dynasty, the Di Zun. How about it? Are you afraid? Lin Xian smiled. If you are afraid, then kneel down and kowtow to beg for mercy. You are courting death, brat. I won't let you go. The demon immortal was completely enraged. The killing intent on his body continued to spread. This time, he was going to use his ultimate technique. Run. The faces of the other great emperors also changed drastically. Under this attack, everything around them would probably turn into ashes. Old thing, I won't play with you anymore. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He threw out the heaven and earth ring and hit the immortal pagoda, causing it to shake violently. Countless streams of immortal qi flew out from within, piercing through the heavens and earth. In an instant, the entire space began to crumble. As for Lin Xian, he took the opportunity to quickly escape. He waved his hand and received the universe ring. Then he flew into the distance. Then he said to Xueqi and the others, "Don't worry about me." Now, there was no way to meet up at all because the surroundings were collapsing, as if the world was about to be destroyed. The few great emperors were too slow, and their bodies were instantly torn apart as they coughed out blood. As for those below the great emperor realm, their bodies and souls would be destroyed. It was too scary. These immortal pagodas were struck with destructive power. Even the demon immortals had to dodge continuously. Damn it, be suppressed. He went crazy and began to seal the fortune immortal pond. If the immortal pagoda ran away, it would be troublesome. Therefore, he no longer cared about killing Lin Xian and the others. He looked into the distance and said, "Kid, I'll remember you. You can't escape. Soon, I'll come out and rule the 9 Serenities continent. I'll find you and destroy your soul." Seal. The demon immortal began to seal the entire world with his own power. "Oh no, we can't escape. We can't get out." Some of the great emperors were terrified. The Xia family members were also in despair. After Xia Qinyu finished his exercise, he said, "Break!" He crazily tore apart the void. On the other side, Xueqi and the others also felt a sealing power pressing down from the sky. They tried their best to resist, but the power was too strong. Fortunately, Lin Xian arrived at this moment. He activated the power of the great dragon sword with all his might, making it invincible. He tore open the void and took them away. Boom! In the land of buried bones, a lake was stirred up. Then the lake broke open. A beam of sword energy shot into the sky like a sword god. It was Lin Xian and the others. After they came out, they streaked across the sky like a beam of light and disappeared into the distance. Lin Xian and the others didn't breathe a sigh of relief until they left the land of buried bones. Fortunately, the demon immortal didn't chase them. They weren't in danger for the time being. However, they couldn't be careless. The demon immortal was now forced by the immortal pagoda's power. Once it completely stabilized, it could really sweep across the 9 Serenities continent. At that time, they would be in danger. Lin Xian said, "It's time to go back." He had achieved 2 goals in coming to the 9 Serenities continent. First, Xiajiu had become a great emperor. Second, his immortal qi seed had reached the peak, so he could go back. He could open the 9 Serenities continent and let others in. He was really going to open it. The corpse emperor gasped when he heard this. No one had been able to open the 9 Serenities continent for millions of years. Now, was it finally going to open again? This time, countless experts from all over the heavens and realms would arrive at the heavens and earth. A storm would rise and countless battles would break out. Xia Juyo and the others were excited. Just as they were preparing, Lin Xian's expression changed. He said, "Oh no, let's go. Someone is coming." They quickly left. Not long after they left, many figures appeared, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Among them, there were many great emperors. They spread out in all directions and began to search. If Lin Xian were here, he would be shocked, because there were people from the Xia clan, the Dark Cloud clan, the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans, and the Netherwater clan. These were the great emperors from the clans who explored the creation immortal pool with him. But now they were frantically searching for him. Were they searching for him? Lin Xian didn't know that after he left, the creation immortal pool changed again. Apart from a few who managed to escape, the rest were all sealed by the sealing power of the demonic immortal. Among them, the Xia clan's grand elder didn't escape. The other great emperors didn't escape either. But Zhulong, Xia Qinyu, and the others escaped. The great emperors were terrified. They looked at the demon immortal and said, "Senior, please spare us. Senior, we don't know that kid. What he did has nothing to do with us." The demon immortal's face was ferocious. He was angry now. How could he be kind? He said, "You dare to have the idea of building the immortal pool? You deserve to die. Senior, please spare us. We are willing to serve you. Senior, aren't you going to the 9th underworld to rule the world?" We are willing to follow you. The great emperors had no choice. Although they were high and mighty and stood above everything, they were still no match for the demon immortals. It was easy for the demon immortal to kill them. He could even destroy their souls. It wasn't easy for these great emperors to cultivate until now. No one wanted to die. Follow me? Fine, I'll fulfill your wish. The demon immortal waved his sleeve and shot out countless demon Dao runes. They poured into these people's foreheads. Not only the great emperors, but also the sects and clans below the great emperors. These people had painful expressions on their faces. Soon, their souls were being controlled. Greetings, demon immortal. These people all knelt on the ground with respectful expressions. Go find that kid. Find him and bring him back. I will reward you. Chapter 6077. These people were all controlled by the demonic immortal to chase after Lin Xian. The demonic immortal swore that he would not let Lin Xian escape. As for him, he stayed here to stabilize the creation celestial pool. Next, he was going to reappear. Very soon, the ninth underworld would become his possession. Lin Xian and the others were carefully hiding, afraid that they would be discovered by the demonic immortal. At the same time, they were preparing to find a place to settle down. Then they would open the Nine Nether and let the people outside in. It had been some time since Lin Xian and the others entered the Nine Nether. When they entered, they had attacked the Xia family's branch. Not only that, Xue Qi also sent 2 people from the Nine Nether flying. Later, these 2 people also stayed on the 18th level of hell. This matter also spread out. Not long after, the people from the Permitha realm came. When the emperors from the Permitha realm learned about the situation, they were shocked. The Nine Nether had opened? How was that possible? The people from the Supreme Palace also came. They couldn't believe it either. It opened and closed in an instant. Damn it, what was going on? No, they had to investigate carefully. They all sent out emperors to investigate. However, they found that they couldn't find the reason. It seemed that they could only invite more powerful people. The Permitha realm went back to report to the Essence Immortal and Master Rashi. They wanted to invite the Land Immortal to help. The people from the Supreme Palace also prepared to ask the Grim Reaper to help. After the Land Immortal learned about it, he prepared to come and investigate. On the Divine Realm side, Lin Zhan and the others were attacking Shangqing City and couldn't divert their attention. Therefore, they asked the people from the Heavenly Court to investigate the situation. Why hadn't there been any news from Lin Xian and the others for so long? The Heavenly Courts, Black Mountain, and the North Demon led a group of people to investigate. After learning about the situation, they were also surprised. What was going on? Lin Xian had entered the Nine Nether. But why couldn't the others enter? Damn it. The Permitha realm and the Supreme Palace were going to send Land Immortals to investigate. The situation was not good. The North Demons said, "Master, what should we do? Land Immortals, we can't resist them." "Don't worry, disciple." Black Mountain's eyes flashed with a cold light. "Do you really think that we don't have Earth Immortals? Let's go. I'll go get someone." No, it was to invite God. "We also have Land Immortals on our side." Northern Demon was stunned. In the next moment, he followed Black Mountain and flew into the distance. Black Mountain brought him to the Extreme Dao world. This was a world formed by Extreme Dao weapons. Lin Xian and the others had been there before. After entering the Extreme Dao world, the North Demon was surprised. "There's a Land Immortal here?" Of course there was. Black Mountain said. Then, they quickly flew to the 3 Stars Cave. In the cave of the Slanting Moon and 3 Stars, there was a group of spirit monkeys. When they saw Northern Demon and Black Mountain, they looked as though they were facing a great enemy. The auras of these 2 people were too powerful. Black Mountain said, "Don't be afraid. I mean no harm. We are here to see a senior." After saying that, he took out a treasure box and carefully opened it. Inside the treasure box was actually a strand of monkey hair. This monkey hair possessed an incomparably mysterious power. It caused the surrounding spirit monkeys in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars to prostrate themselves. It was the aura of the old ancestor. These people were here to meet the old ancestor. Please. They respectfully invited Black Mountain and the North Demon into the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. The cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars was extremely mysterious. Lin Xian had also been here before. There was a Bodhi tree here, and under the tree was a stone monkey. And further inside, there was a dragon mountain formed by a giant dragon. On the mountain was a man in white, sleeping soundly. After Lin Xian left, someone else had come to this place, and that was Sun Qitian. At this moment, Sun Qitian was still cultivating here. Hearing that someone had come, Sun Qitian opened his eyes and shouted coldly, "Who is it?" The next moment, he saw Black Mountain and the North Demon walk in. "It's you." Sun Qitian was surprised. He naturally recognized them. These were all Lin Xian's friends. Black Mountain said, "We are here to invite the fighting god. You are looking for my father." Sun Qitian was also very surprised. "What's the matter?" "My father is cultivating." Black Mountain sighed. The matter was extremely urgent. The 9 Serenities was about to open. Moreover, some land immortals were about to come out. "So, we want to invite the fighting god." Next, he told them about the matter. After hearing this, Sun Qitian exclaimed, "Lin Xian, that kid, has entered the 9 Serenities." "Well, it seems that this matter can only be handled by my father." Sun Qitian looked ahead. Black Mountain and the North Demon also took a deep breath and walked over. They bowed respectfully. "Greetings, fighting god." In front of them, the stone monkey that had been sleeping was the fighting god. In the battle back then, the fighting god had once fought with Master Rashi of the Nirvana realm and seriously injured him. The other party had been sleeping for countless years and had only recently woken up. Now, Master Rashi and his group were preparing to go to the 9 Serenities. Thinking of this, Black Mountain took out the monkey hair and said, "This matter is urgent. Senior, please take action." The monkey hair floated up and bloomed in the air. Finally, the stone monkey in front of them shook and endless dust flew. The stone monkey slowly opened its eyes. It was a pair of golden eyes that seemed to be able to see through everything. At this moment, everyone in the heavens and the underworld were terrified. On the hidden Emperor Star, countless people from the families and sects felt their hair stand on end. What's going on? Why do I feel that my soul seems to be seen through? Heavens, has someone incredible appeared? Thunder rumbled in the 9 Serenities, and ghosts and gods were shocked. The fighting god's gaze created countless illusions. In the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars, Sun Qitian also exclaimed, "Father, you're awake. Is it time to fight again?" The fighting god was indeed born for battle. As soon as he opened his eyes, his words were shocking. "Don't worry, I will only take action." "Thank you, Senior." Black Mountain and the North Demon thanked him and then turned to leave. Although the fighting god had awakened, he had no intention of taking action. He was still sitting there cross-legged. Only a pair of golden eyes were flickering like divine flames. His gaze looked into the distance, enveloping several worlds. He flew out of the hidden Emperor Star and looked at all the worlds in the universe. He saw the deity ground, the 18 levels of hell, and even the heavenly land. At a glance, all the worlds in the universe were in his eyes. Who can be immortal in this vast world? The fighting god sighed. Sun Qitian was puzzled. "Father, why are you sighing like this? You are already a supreme god. Your lifespan is infinite. You have long been immortal." "No, you still don't understand. It's easy to live forever, but difficult to not die." A sigh sounded in the ears of countless creatures. Sun Qitian was also stunned. He recalled his father's words, but now he still didn't understand. Perhaps it wasn't until he experienced endless battles that he finally understood these words. After leaving the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars, the North Demon breathed a sigh of relief. However, Black Mountain shook his head. No, I'm still worried. The fighting god was breaking through to a new realm. He probably couldn't fight with all his strength. We still have to look for other land immortals. This time we're going to the Moon God Palace. Above the universe, in the deity ground, there was a mysterious moon palace. Lin Xian had been to this place before. There was the moon god immortal and the moon god inside. He was almost killed by the moon god. However, he was saved by the moon god immortal later. After Black Mountain and the North Demon arrived at the moon palace, they felt a chill down their spines. There were ancient figures, terrifying shadows, and terrifying remnant souls here. The two didn't dare to be presumptuous. Black Mountain took out a letter and said respectfully, "Please see the moon god immortal." Chapter 6078. A cold voice came from the moon palace. "So you're from the heavenly court. Come in." After saying that, a 7-colored immortal chi appeared in the sky and surrounded Heishan and his companion. The next moment, the world spun. Black Mountain and the demon lord found themselves in a new space. Their surroundings were chaotic, like a small lake in the moon. In front of them was an island in the lake, and there was a beautiful figure standing there. She was dressed in white and looked like she would ascend to heaven at any moment. "Greetings, Moon Immortal." Black Mountain and the demon lord bowed and told him what had happened. Moon Immortal said, "Don't worry, I'll do it. Is that Lin Xian you're talking about him?" At this moment, Moon Immortal waved his hand, and a young figure appeared in the void. It was a portrait. Black Mountain looked at it and said, "Yes, it's him." "Does his father know about this?" Moon Immortal asked again. "Yes, but the War Emperor is attacking Upper Qingcheng in Kenko." "Upper Qingcheng?" Moon Immortal sighed. "He's too stubborn and won't listen to me. Otherwise he wouldn't have died. He wouldn't have to live another life. Maybe he's already an Earth Immortal. Let's not talk about him. I promise you that I'll go." "Thank you, Moon Immortal." Black Mountain heaved a sigh of relief and turned to leave. Just as they were about to leave the Moon Palace, a figure appeared in front of them. The North Demon felt cold all over. He was a quasi-emperor now, but he couldn't fight back in front of this figure. He was dumbfounded. Could it be that Moon Immortal wanted to kill them? Black Mountain's pupils constricted, and he showed an expression worse than crying. "Greetings, Moon Goddess. You came to the Moon Palace to beg another woman. Are you looking down on me?" The Moon Goddess was wearing a green mask that covered half of her face. However, one could still see that she was a peerless beauty. However, the murderous intent on her was too cold. She was like a killing god. This gave Black Mountain a headache. He could only say, "I know that the Moon Goddess has been cultivating, and I dare not disturb her." "Humph, you dare not." The Moon Goddess's eyes flashed. She asked, "What's the matter?" Heishan had no choice but to explain everything. The Moon Goddess was surprised. "Is the 9th Serenity about to open?" After being sealed for 1,000,000 years, it was finally reopened. "I remember that there are many good places in the 9th underworld where many treasures are buried. This time, some people will definitely not be able to resist going there. Let me ask you, does the old devil know? You're talking about the Demon Emperor, aren't you?" "He knows about it too, but he's currently attacking Upper Azure City. That old thing was still in the high heavens land. Could he succeed this time?" When the Moon Goddess heard the words Demon Emperor, a cold look appeared in her eyes. Then she waved her hand impatiently. "You two can leave." Yes, Black Mountain heaved a sigh of relief. Being with the Moon Goddess was a huge pressure. Wait, at this moment, the Moon Goddess started again. Black Mountain was on the verge of tears. Moon Goddess, do you have any other orders? The Moon Goddess said, I'll take care of the ninth Serenity as well. Thank you. Black Mountain was overjoyed. Moon Goddess snorted, I'm not helping you. I just don't like hell. How could the assassin organization of the Supreme Palace be more powerful than the human world? Today, I have to show them who's better. Of course, they're no match for you. Black Mountain said from the side, Heavenly Court, Hell, and the human world. The human world should be the main force. After leaving the Moon Goddess, Black Mountain was drenched in sweat, and the North Demon's face was also pale. He said, Master, who on earth is this person? It's too scary. Is she the Moon Goddess or the Killing God? She was both the Moon Goddess and the Killing God. Black Mountain and the North Demon didn't let out a sigh of relief until they had completely left the Moon Palace and the deity ground. Seeing the North Demon's confusion, he said, In all the worlds there are 3 holy lands of assassins, Heavenly Court, Hell, and the human world. Heavenly Court is referring to us. Hell was referring to the assassins in the 18 levels of hell. The human world was established by the Moon Goddess. How could her murderous aura not be powerful? What? The human world was established by the Moon Goddess. The North Demon was stunned. No wonder the murderous aura on her was so strong. But why was she called the Killing God? Why was she called the Moon Goddess? Black Mountain sighed. Because her mother was the Moon Goddess. She had inherited this title. So that's how it is. The North Demon was excited. At the same time, he said, that Guanghan Immortal, is she also from the divine realm? Why do I feel that she is very familiar with the Battle Emperor? Black Mountain smiled bitterly. Let's not talk about this. Don't, Master, tell me. The North Demon was very curious. Black Mountain pulled a long face and said, Are you very free? Hurry up and cultivate. Once the 9 Nether opens, there will definitely be countless battles. At that time, our Heavenly Court will also participate. A few days ago, I opened a passage in the Golden Lion Palace. Why don't you go in and train? No. Why don't you go to another palace to train? That fearless lion is too scary. After hearing this, the North Demon's face turned pale. Black Mountain was in a good mood. Let's go. This time, we've invited 3 land immortals. It's enough to fight against everything. Not only Black Mountain, but the Supreme Palace of the Nirvana realm also began to move. Some land immortals woke up one after another and prepared to go to the 9 Nether. 1,000,000 years ago, there was a great battle in the 9 Nether and many people died. At the same time, they also unearthed some treasures. However, the battle back then ended too suddenly. The 9 Nether was even sealed for 1,000,000 years. Some of the good things were sealed before they could even take them away. Some of the treasures in their hands even fell inside. Now, after waiting for more than 1,000,000 years, they could finally take them back. Lin Xian didn't know that these land immortals had already started to have ideas about the 9 Nether. Right now, he was quickly shuttling through the 9 Nether, avoiding the pursuit of these people. However, in the end, he was still discovered by someone. The people who discovered them were from the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning families. The 4 great emperors of the 4 families joined forces. The area they covered was very vast. Therefore, they discovered Lin Xian and the others. The Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning families sealed off this area. The 4 great emperors laughed proudly. Great, I finally found you. Kid, come back with me obediently. You have to know what the consequences of offending a land immortal are. I can only say that you are too stupid. Now, the Corpse Emperor is not with you, and the 9 Nether Beast has also left. The 3 of you are no match for us. Indeed, Lin Xian's team was much smaller than before. After they escaped from the creation, Celestial Pool, the Corpse Emperor had left. He cooperated with Lin Xian because he wanted to enter the creation, Celestial Pool. Now that he couldn't achieve this goal, he could only leave. The 9 nether beast was also scared and ran back to its family. Only Xueqi, Xiajuyo, Xiaxingchen, and Butian were left by Lin Xian's side. Therefore, the people of the 4 families were not afraid of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families. Lin Xian also smiled. Only the 4 families. I thought that the demonic immortal had come. If the demonic immortal didn't come, the 4 of you are no match for us. Elder Xia, do it and teach them a lesson. Chapter 60-79. Although the enemy was the 4 great emperors, Lin Xian and the others were not afraid at all. They were really ignorant ants. The 4 great emperors snorted coldly. Attack! Immortal qi erupted from their bodies, forming a light screen that shrouded the sky and earth. This attack was extremely terrifying. The entire ground instantly cracked, and countless mountains and rivers were shattered. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He flicked his finger, and a sword qi flew out. The sword qi was extremely terrifying, as if it was going to tear the universe apart. This sword slashed directly at the 2 great emperors. He wanted to fight against the 2 of them alone. The 2 great emperors were furious. You're courting death. Extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from their eyes. Was the other party looking down on them? Unforgivable. They let out an earth-shattering roar. The 2 of them decided to kill him in one blow. Immortal technique, sky hunting. Immortal technique, Wind City. The 2 attacks were extremely terrifying. Great emperors of the same realm could not withstand them at all. After seeing them, they had to retreat to save their lives. However, Lin Xian did not escape at all. He waved his hand, and the immortal slaying sword appeared in his hand. The long sword hummed, and the man and the sword charged forward. A blinding ray of light, extremely dazzling, flew forward like a divine dragon swinging its tail. Then it collided with the 2 immortal techniques. It was an earth-shattering attack. The 2 immortal techniques were torn apart by the sword. The 2 great emperors also retreated. The 2 of them were dumbfounded. They did not expect that they would be injured as soon as they exchanged blows with the other party. The other party was only a quasi-emperor. Why? The 2 of them could not believe it. There was something wrong with his sword. Yes, that's right. Use our extreme weapons. The 2 great emperors took out their weapons and charged over again. There was something wrong with the sword. Stupid. Lin Xian sneered and let the long sword float in the sky. Then he stretched out his hands. On his left hand, the immortal qi seed spread out. On his right hand, the power of the divine fire seed jumped. Immortal technique, graceful sword. Divine ability, apocalyptic punch. Lin Xian drew the sword with his left hand and punched with his right hand. 2 earth-shattering forces erupted. The 2 emperors went crazy when they saw the scene. How is this possible? You have both the seed of immortal energy and the seed of divine fire. How could you possibly cultivate 2 types of power? This had completely surpassed their understanding of the world. With a boom, the 2 of them were sent flying. The body of the person on the left was split in half. The great emperor on the right was smashed into pieces. Shock, incomparable shock. Was the other party's immortal seed even more powerful than their immortal seed? Damn it. The 2 of them were furious, igniting their immortal energy. The immortal qi on their bodies burst out like a brilliant flame. The 2 martial monarchs attacked. Once again, Lin Xian waved his hand and grasped the immortal extermination sword. It's over. A single sword strike shocked the heavens. Like a blazing sun, it cracked open between heaven and earth. After one sword strike, 2 great emperors had fallen. How could this be? The other 2 great emperors were fighting Xiajuyo and Xueqi. They hadn't expected that their companions would perish. Damn it. How did this kid do it? Even if he couldn't win against great emperors of the same level, he could still run away. How could they know? The immortal extermination sword had killed immortals before, and this sword strike was Lin Xian's all-out attack. The great dragon sword soul's indestructible power directly extinguished the vitality of the great emperors. After one sword strike, Lin Xian's face turned pale. The great dragon sword soul needed some time to recover and replenish its power. However, Lin Xian didn't plan to let the other two go. He said, "Sure." After hearing this, Xueqi nodded. She soared into the sky and came to Lin Xian's side. 9 yin and 9 yang fused together. Boom! They attacked the third great emperor. The third great emperor roared, "Kill!" He had a long spear in his hand, and at this moment he stabbed it into the sky. This spear strike was so powerful that it caused the void to shatter continuously, causing countless cracks to appear in the void. The cultivators in the distance were also terrified. The attack of a great emperor was so terrifying. However, under the fusion of the 9 yin and 9 yang, the opponent turned into ashes. He died again. The fourth great emperor was stunned. The first 3 great emperors died in an instant. This strength is too terrifying, isn't it? Is he an earth immortal? Damn it, how can he be so strong? As for the 9 underworlds, 3 thunderous roars rang out from it. A terrifying crack appeared in the sky, as if the sky was torn open. A rain of blood poured down. At this moment, the cultivators in the 9th underworld looked up in horror. Heavens, what happened? Who was the culprit behind the fall of the great emperor? In a certain valley, Xia Qinyu and Zhu Long's scalp went numb when they saw the scene. Could it be that the earth immortal from the fortune celestial pool did it? Otherwise, why would so many great emperors die? There was a loud boom. At this moment, another thunderous sound came, and the 4th rain of blood fell. Another great emperor died. Countless living beings, cultivators, and warriors in the 9th underworld all prostrated themselves on the ground. Millions of families and sects knelt down. Even the great emperors in those families were trembling in fear. After becoming a great emperor, their lifespan would be very long. Although it was not absolute immortality, in the eyes of ordinary people, they had infinite life. It could be said that it was immortality in the eyes of ordinary people. But now a great emperor had died, and it was the death of 4 great emperors. This was really too much of a challenge to their nerves. In a certain mountain gate, an old man sighed. There was also a trace of immortal qi on his body. He was also a great emperor. However, at this moment, his expression was incomparably lonely. He said, "It's easy to live forever, but difficult to not die." Behind him, a little boy carrying a lantern walked over and said, "Master, it's time for you to take your medicine." The old man coughed twice and then sighed, "Disciple, do you see? Even great emperors don't have true immortality. There are still people who can kill them." The little boy looked up and asked, "Sure, Fu, then how can I live forever?" The old man also stood up and sighed to the sky, "Who in the world can live forever?" Difficult, difficult, difficult. The old man's expression was incomparably lonely. Finally, he sighed, "Disciple, tomorrow morning you go down the mountain and don't come back for 800 years. Master," the little boy cried. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed nonstop. Was he not good enough? The old man looked at this scene with heartache, but he still didn't say anything. He had to let this little disciple leave, because he felt that a crisis was coming and a storm was coming. This storm was going to sweep across the 9 Serenities continent. They, the great emperors of the 9 Serenities continent, might not be able to escape. Would they live or die by then? Who knew? If his disciple stayed by his side, he would most likely die. Rather than that, it was better to be cruel and let him leave. Although there were also all kinds of dangers outside, it was much safer than facing that supreme existence. In fact, it wasn't just this old man who had this idea. The other great emperors above the 9 Serenities, great emperor, seemed to have the same idea. Among them in the 9 Serenities land, there was a huge canyon that was bottomless. There was a black palace here, and in the palace there was a middle-aged man in black armor. He also had immortal chi floating on his body. He was also a great emperor. In front of him, there was a black mirror. At this moment, the black-armored great emperor formed a seal with both hands, as if he was deducing something. In the next moment, a crack appeared on the mirror. The great emperor spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was on the verge of collapse. Father, two figures behind him, supported him. They were a man and a woman. They were the prince and princess. No matter where and when they would enjoy endless glory. However, at this moment, the black-armored great emperor said, I deduce that a crisis is coming and I don't have the ability to protect you. How could it be? The prince and princess were stunned. Their father was a great emperor, a high and mighty great emperor that countless people looked up to. How could such a person feel defeated and powerless? They wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. However, the great emperor shook his head. He looked at his two children and said, I've prepared 2 godly sources for you. It's enough for you to sleep for 10,000 years. Wake up 10,000 years later. Perhaps you can avoid this storm. Chapter 6080. In front of Lin Xian and the others, the 4 great emperors had already fallen. They all breathed a sigh of relief. Let's continue on the road and find a place to rest and recover from our injuries. They continued on their journey. 3 days later, they stopped again because they met another team. This time it was the Xia family. The leader was the Xia family's first elder. The first elder's eyes turned red when he saw Lin Xian. Kid, I finally found you. Come back with me obediently and wait for the demonic immortal's judgment. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place. You, Lin Xian sneered. You are not qualified to make me do it. He stood in the void with his hands behind his back and had no intention to make a move. Xia Jia walked out and said, Let me fight this battle. You, the first elder of the Xia family, looked at Xia Jia and frowned. A black-robed man is playing tricks. He waved his hand and grabbed at the front. Behind him, the people who followed him sneered. They knew the first elder's strength very well. How could a black-robed man compare to him? Xia Jia roared and punched out. The two collided and shook the sky and the earth. The expressions of the people at the back changed greatly after they saw it. Their eyes were filled with shock. Is this possible? The first elder's strength was amazing, but he was blocked by the opponent. How terrifying is this person? An expert of the Xia family said, Don't worry, first elder. It was just a casual attack. Next, the first elder will be serious. That guy will definitely die. Yes. The people around nodded. No one was optimistic about the black-robed man. After all, the first elder had been famous for a long time. Interesting. It seems that you are also a great emperor, but you are not my opponent at all. The first elder shouted coldly. He formed a seal with his hands, and his white hair fluttered. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a god. He raised his hand, and a big seal flew out. The Juyo seal. The people behind him cheered when they saw the Xia family's unique skill. They knew that this battle was over. No one could resist the Juyo seal. Seeing this, Xia Juyo snorted coldly. The Juyo seal is not as practical as you. He unleashed his 9 underworld's body and also formed hand seals with his palms. Then he slapped out. A black handprint was formed in front of him, and an incomparably terrifying aura burst forth from it. Everywhere it passed, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Even the stars in the 9 heavens shook. Then the 2 of them collided, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split. With a boom, the Grand Elder was forced back, his blood and chi roiling. He was dumbfounded. The next moment he roared, Impossible! How can you have the 9 nether seal? Who are you? You actually dared to steal my Xia family's secret technique. He had really gone crazy. The people behind him were also dumbfounded. No way. The great elder was actually forced to retreat. It was too unbelievable. Damn it. Who exactly is this black-robed man? Why was it so strange? On the other side, Lin Xian's lips curled up as he watched this scene. Let's fight. The people of the Xia family would soon be shocked, because Xia Jiu had already become a great emperor, coupled with the 9 underworld's body, this kind of secret technique in the starry sky. His strength far surpassed everything. It was not something the Xia family could imagine. At least, Lin Xian could see that the Xia family's grand elder was no match for him. You're just S.O. In front of him, Xia Jiu said coldly, You're courting death. 9 underworld song. The great elder roared as he activated another of the Xia clan's ultimate techniques. A terrifying sound seemed to come from the 9 underworld hell. It was wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves, making one's scalp tingle. The surrounding people trembled in fear. Even the soul of a great emperor would not be able to withstand such an attack. The black-robed man in front of them was doomed this time, but soon they were dumbfounded, because the black-robed man in front of them also roared 9 underworld song. A vortex door seemed to have opened on his body. From inside, an even more terrifying sound came out. It was like the sigh of a ghost. The 9 underworld song fought against the 9 underworld song. The two collided, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split. The grand elder was forced to retreat again. He was going crazy. You know the 9 underworld song too? Who are you? You're from the Xia family. He seemed to have thought of something, because he found that not only did the other party know the Xia family's secret technique, but the power was also stronger than his. Impossible. Although the grand elder was not the strongest in the Xia family, he was still at the top. Apart from the patriarch Xia Qinyu, he could be ranked in the top 5 among these elders. There were not many who could defeat him. However, this black-robed man was stronger than him. Who was he? He really couldn't figure it out, because there was no such person in the family. Fine, I'll let you know who I am. Xia Jiu took a deep breath, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. Then he activated the 9 underworld's song to the extreme. The whole universe was trembling and endless cracks spread. Everyone was terrified. They felt that the power of the entire 9 underworld song was boiling. It gathered toward the other party. What was going on? What kind of bloodline did this guy have? Everyone went crazy. As for the grand elder, he was even more dumbfounded. His body trembled. You are. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Was this that physique? Why did it appear here? Wasn't this physique said to be in the outside universe? You have the 9 underworld's physique. Finally, he roared. How did you enter the 9 underworld song? Hearing this, the people behind him sucked in a breath of cold air. 9 nether physique. Legend had it that the Xia family had a very terrifying physique. It was a super strong physique in all the worlds. It was called the 9 underworld's physique. Every 9 underworld's physique was extremely terrifying. It was said that the earth immortal of the Xia family back then had the 9 underworld's physique. In addition, there had been a few 9 underworld's physiques in the Xia family. However, a few of them had fallen in the battle. Now, another one had appeared. And as soon as it appeared, it was a great emperor. It was too unbelievable. What was even more shocking was that this 9 underworld's physique was actually hostile to the Xia family. That's right. Xia Jiu tore open his black robe and said, I have the 9 underworld's physique. I didn't expect it to really be you. The great elder roared crazily. Everyone attacked together and catch him. This was really an unexpected surprise. Not only could they catch Lin Xian, but they could also catch the 9 underworld's physique. If they caught him, the Xia family would have new hope. After hearing this, the the people behind them all attacked. In addition to Xiajiao, there were two other great emperors who had been watching the battle. At this moment, they also rushed over recklessly. "Chia, let's go." Lin Xian and Xue Qi joined forces, fusing the 9 yin and 9 yang. Since Xiajiao had revealed the 9 underworld's physique, it meant that the battle was about to begin. They wouldn't let anyone escape, including the great elder of the Xia family. The great battle broke out in an instant. It was earth-shattering and extremely terrifying. Xiajiao was still fighting one-on-one with the great elder. A black hole appeared between the two of them. The others couldn't get close at all. Lin Xian and Xue Qi joined forces and punched out. Instantly, the enemies fell in droves. They were crazy. They were too powerful. Stop them. The two of them joined forces. The two great emperors rushed over crazily. Cold and sharp battle suits appeared on their bodies. The two battle suits were extremely powerful. They could actually block some of the power of the 9 yin and 9 yang. These two battle suits should be extreme-grade weapons. They had extremely strong defense. Lin Xian sneered. He waved his hand and took out a fragment. Chapter 6081. This fragment was only the size of a palm, but there were extremely terrifying patterns on it, as if it was a fragment of a weapon. Lin Xian's right eye, Rinnegan, opened, blooming with light, and a cold voice sounded. He summoned the reincarnation sword. That's right, this fragment was the fragment of the reincarnation sword. Previously, Lin Xian's Rinnegan could already summon the phantom of the Thunder Soul Sword. Coupled with the fragment of the reincarnation sword, the power was even more terrifying. Between heaven and earth, a sword shadow that reached the sky appeared. There was the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation floating above the sky. Everyone looked up in horror. They were dumbfounded. No, what kind of power was this? 6 paths of reincarnation. He actually had this kind of power. Damn it, run. Countless exclamations sounded. Some people even roared. Could it be the legendary reincarnation sword? Damn it, one of the 5 swords in the world. Who was he? How did he get these things? Many people recognized the sword shadow and were scared out of their wits. Even the 2 martial monarchs turned around and fled in terror. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the phantom of the reincarnation sword fell. The fragment of the reincarnation sword merged with the phantom, and a sword reincarnated. The front was completely covered by the sword shadow, and the 6 worlds were connected. Countless miserable screams rang out. These people's souls were sucked in and completely disappeared. After a single sword strike, those people all dissipated. One great emperor fell, and the other great emperor's armor was broken and he vomited blood. He fell to the ground. Although he didn't die, he was seriously injured. It was impossible for him to escape. Who are you? Who are you? This great emperor looked at Lin Xian and kept roaring. Lin Xian pulled out the immortal slaying sword and said coldly, "I am Lin Wudi." As soon as his voice fell, the long sword stabbed out, and the great emperor fell, his pupils dilated. 2 great emperors fell, and the vision of heaven and earth appeared again. Blood rain fell, covering Jiao. On the other side, the great elder who was fighting with Xiajiao felt his scalp tingle. This person actually had the Rinnegan. Not good, run. He turned and fled. Help Elder Xia. Don't let the enemy leave. Understood. Xueqi nodded. She waved her hand, and the 9 nether sword appeared in her hand. She also unleashed her 9 body to its pinnacle. Lin Xian knew that Xiajiao was powerful and could defeat the first elder. However, it would not be easy to kill the first elder. After all, killing a great emperor at the same level required an extremely powerful trump card. Xueqi still had the 9 nether sword in her hands, and if she cooperated with the 2 of them, she could kill the great elder. Sure enough, when the 9 nether sword appeared, had elder's soul scattered. In the end, he shouted in despair, "You even have the 9 nether sword? These people are too terrifying." The great dragon sword, the Samsara sword, and the 9 nether sword all had the terrifying starry sky body. With such a group of people gathered together, even if an expert with 2 strands of immortal chi were to appear, the other party would still have nothing to fear. A third rain of blood fell from the torn hole in the sky. Lin Xian and the others took a deep breath and said, "We must open the 9 serenities as soon as possible." By now, they had already killed 7 great emperors. Above the 9 underworlds, strange phenomena could be seen everywhere. If they did not leave now, their own experts might not be able to take it anymore. They might chase after them crazily. They had to borrow the power of the outside world again. At the thought of this, Lin Xian and the others quickly left. Butian said, "Let's go to the 9th summit. My grandfather set up the Heavenly Master array there back then. It should still be usable." "All right, let's go to the 9th summit." Lin Xian and the others changed their direction and headed to the 9th summit. In the 9 serenities, countless people knelt down again. Heavens, a few days ago, for great emperors had fallen, and strange phenomena could be seen everywhere. Before they could react, another 3 great emperors had fallen. In just a month, 7 great emperors had fallen. It was really unbelievable. One had to know that 7 great emperors might not have fallen in 100,000 years. But in a month, it had happened one after another. What was going on? Was a peerless killing god coming? Were they all dead? In the creation's celestial pool, the demonic immortal frowned. He could feel that 7 of the demonic Tao runes he had left in the bodies of those great emperors had disappeared. What a bunch of trash. "Come here." The demonic immortal formed a seal with his palm and stretched out his hand. A figure half knelt on the ground. He said, "Greetings, demonic immortal." The demonic immortal's eyes shone with a cold light. He said, "Make your move. You're a powerhouse with 2 strands of immortal chi. You won't die. You must bring that kid to me. Do you hear me?" The figure stood up, turned around, and soared into the sky. There were 2 strands of immortal chi on him. If Lin Xian and the others were here, they would definitely recognize him. This person was Xia Kuangsha. He was also the powerhouse of the Xia family who had been beaten into the lake by them. When he entered the lake, he didn't die. He was just shrouded by the power of silence and fell to the bottom of the lake. Then he was discovered by the demonic immortal. Then the demonic immortal controlled him. This was an extremely powerful great emperor. After all, 2 strands of immortal chi far surpassed everything. It was far from what the great elder and the others could compare to. Xia Kuangsha left the creation's celestial pool and set off quickly. He came to the place where the great elder and the others were killed. His expression was extremely cold. With a wave of his hand, he began to collect the auras of Lin Xian and the others. Then he looked into the distance and sensed it. He tore open the void and continued to chase. After Lin Xian and the others returned to the 9th summit, they began to set up the array formation. Butian entered the palace of the 9th summit and began to search. Soon, he activated the array formation. The entire 9th summit shook violently. A terrifying array formation appeared in the surroundings. Clouds and mist filled the air, forming a sea of clouds. Great, the array formation was activated. Butian heaved a sigh of relief. The array formation was set up by his grandfather back then. His grandfather was a heavenly master. Although he became delirious later on, when he was awake back then, he had also set up a great array formation. The Sea of Clouds array. Lin Xian and the others felt the power of the Sea of Clouds array and heaved a sigh of relief. With this array formation, even if a super great emperor with 2 strands of immortal chi came, it would be able to resist for a while. There's no time to lose. Elder Xia, let's move. Xia Jiu nodded and said, "I need Xueqi's help. You have to send me back to the universe first." "Why?" Lin Xian said, "Can't you open it here?" Xia Juyo said no. The moment I became a great emperor, I sensed that with my physique, I could open the 9 underworlds. However, it must be opened from the outside. Husband, don't worry. My 9 underworlds sword can send Elder Xia out. Lin Xian nodded. It was really dangerous. If they didn't have the 9 underworld sword, they really wouldn't be able to open the 9 underworlds. All right, let's begin. Xue Qi took out the 9 underworld sword. Her eyes became sharp as she unleashed her power to the extreme. She stabbed the sword into the void, and a spatial passageway immediately appeared. All right, Elder Xia, you can go. Xia Juyo nodded and dashed outside with a flash of his body. Grandpa! Xia Xingqian exclaimed. Lin Xian said, Xingqian, you stay here. I'll go out with Elder Xia. Qi, I'll leave this place to you. Don't worry, husband. After saying that, Lin Xian's figure flashed and entered the spatial passageway. In the next moment, the sky and earth spun. Lin Xian discovered that he had arrived at the 17th level of hell. Chapter 6082. The 17th level of hell, where the Xia family's branch was located. On this day, a black vortex appeared in the sky again. 2 figures walked out of the vortex. Seeing this scene, the Xia family's branch was shocked. The other 2 were also dumbfounded. These 2 came out of the Juya land. Last time, when they escaped, they had experienced such a whirlpool. Now that such a vortex had appeared again, how could they not be excited? Great, it appeared again. We can finally go back. Kill our way back. These people roared crazily. Disregarding everything else, they soared into the sky and directly flew toward the enormous vortex. Get lost! Get lost! 2 thunderous voices sounded. Then, a sword light cut through the sky and earth. There was also a terrifying black palm covering the sky and earth. The 2 experts who were flying over were sent flying. These 2 people's blood stained the sky. One of them was split in half, and the other was beaten into a bloody mist. Ah! Miserable cries sounded, and the 2 souls retreated crazily. The Xia family's branch was also shocked. Heavens, are these 2 gods descending? How could they be so terrifying? One should know that the ones who were sent flying were 2 great emperors. Damn it, who is it? The 2 injured great emperors recovered their bodies, and their faces became extremely ugly. The people of hell also looked up. In the next moment, when they saw the 2 figures, they were stunned. It's you. You're the kid from before. And you have the Juyo body. The 2 great emperors roared. The experts of the Xia family's branch were also roaring nonstop. These 2 people had left from this place before. Had they returned now? Xia Juyo, you've become a great emperor? The Xia family's people felt Xia Juyo's aura and were dumbfounded. How long has it been? He's already become a great emperor? That's right, I've become a great emperor. So you're no match for me at all. Xia Juyo said coldly. The Xia family's branch sneered. That's not necessarily true. This time it's not just us, there are other Taoists as well. Go and invite the people from the other side. You're courting death. Lin Xian's expression changed. 2 beams of light shot out from his eyes, instantly killing a powerhouse from the Xia clan. Blood stained the sky. The members of the Xia family retreated in fear. How dare he team up with Higan? Damn it! Lin Xian made a powerful move and punched out. The terrifying 9-yang divine body erupted. The 9 suns' godly fist pierced through the heavens and earth, turning many of the Xia clan members into ashes. Run! This is a demon. Fellow Taoist of the Permethar realm, please save us. All sorts of blood-curdling screams could be heard as the Xia family members fled one after another. Lin Xian punched again. It was as if a sun had descended upon the mortal world. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from the sky. Then, a terrifying amount of immortal qi condensed into a shield, blocking Lin Xian's fist. With a loud boom, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The shield shook, but Lin Xian's fist was still blocked. Lin Wuti was too arrogant. A cold voice came from the sky. Then a behemoth appeared. It was a figure, but it had 2 wings. It covered the sky and the earth. The feathers on its body were like sharp swords, shining with a cold light. Bayou Land. Lin Xian saw it and sneered. You're no match for me. Is that so? If he's no match for you, then what about us? After Bayou the Great, a few more figures arrived. There were 7 figures standing between heaven and earth. Each of them had an extremely powerful aura that swept across the area. They were dazzling and high above like immortal kings, looking down on all directions. These 7 figures were all great emperors. Moreover, they were all powerhouses of the Permitha realm. And us. On the other side, the Nether Venerable had also arrived. He snorted coldly and also brought 5 people with him. These 5 people were all supremes. The aura on their bodies was extremely cold. The majestic power seemed to have opened the gates of hell. Ha! The people of the Xia family branch laughed. Kid, let's see how you're going to die this time. Fellow Taoist, he's Lin Wuti. Kill him. And that old man is Xia Jiao. If you control him, you'll have a chance to open the Jiao land. Is that so? After hearing this, the eyes of the people of the Permitha realm burst out with a cold light. You're Xia Jiao, right? I'll give you a chance. Join the Permitha realm, and I'll let you enjoy endless cultivation resources. You might even be able to go further. I refuse. Xia Jiao shook his head. Bayou the Great snorted coldly. Stupid thing. Do you know that you've missed a great opportunity? Going against the Permitha realm is a fate worse than death. Is that so? A fate worse than death? Not necessarily, right? Lin Xian also walked out. He snorted coldly and instantly summoned the great dragon Sword Soul. The biting cold sword light bloomed between heaven and earth. The incomparably sharp aura made the great emperors frown. This is the great dragon sword, right? Now that they had seen it with their own eyes, it was indeed extraordinary. But so what? He only used the sword soul. Moreover, how much power could a quasi-emperor exert? The great emperors of the Permitha realm sneered. Is that so? Then feel it. Lin Xian held the great dragon sword in his hand and slashed out. The monstrous sword energy slashed down like a divine sword and hit the sky. With a boom, the great emperor who had mocked him before was sent flying and vomited blood. He was seriously injured. His body was cut in half and couldn't heal. Damn it! How dare you hurt me? He roared crazily. The other people also sucked in a breath of cold air. The power of the great dragon sword was so strong that it shocked them. A mere quasi-emperor could seriously injure them. So what? Nether Prime shouted coldly. This time we have more than a dozen great emperors. Can't we kill him? No matter how strong he is, he can't resist. Hearing this, Lin Xian waved his hand, and another sword energy fragment appeared. The power of the 6 paths of reincarnation swept out. Those supremes were terrified. This is the power of reincarnation. Don't let your soul be surrounded by it. Lin Xian used the reincarnation sword fragment to strike out the reincarnation sword and slashed forward. After Nether Prime was injured, he almost lost half of his life. He was so scared that he trembled all over. Lin Xian laughed. You think you can defeat me? Come at me together. Lin Xian's eyes burst out with extreme madness. The great dragon sword soul in his right hand and the reincarnation sword chi in his left hand. 2 of the 5 swords of the world appeared on his body at the same time. This scene was extremely shocking. The surrounding great emperors were all silent. Their expressions turned incomparably ugly. Great Emperor Bayou said, Don't fight him head-on. This kid is very strange. Ancestor, please make a move. That's right. Another great emperor also nodded. In order to avoid trouble, let's hurry up and ask the ancestor. After that, the people of the other side bowed respectfully. Ancestor, please make a move. Has the target discovered it? An old voice sounded between heaven and earth. Then, a figure cut through the void of the universe. Everyone in the universe could sense the arrival of a terrifying aura. Those powerhouses in the universe all knelt on the ground. What a terrifying power! Is this the arrival of an immortal? There are really immortals in the world. Countless people looked up. They saw a behemoth crossing the universe. Chapter 6083. Hell. In the incomparably cold, starry sky, countless white-boned, resentful spirits were crawling on the ground at this moment. Heavens, what kind of aura is this? They saw that the surrounding earth was cracking, the sky was shattering, and a figure that looked like an ancient mountain was descending. They had seen an immortal before. Some of the great emperors in hell bowed. When the others heard this, they gasped. An immortal? Had a character of such a level descended? Was this in existence in myths and legends? The terrifying power was still spreading, from the first level of hell all the way down. Not long after, they arrived at the 17th level of hell. On the 17th level, the void was completely shattered, turning into nothingness. More than a dozen great emperors bowed respectfully to the void. The people of the Xia family's branch felt their scalps go numb as they knelt on the ground. They didn't dare to offend such a figure at all. Xia Juyo's expression changed. Oh no, it's an immortal, an earth immortal. Previously, when they were in the creation celestial pool, they had met a demonic immortal whose strength was terrifying and unparalleled. Killing a great emperor was as easy as snapping a finger. They couldn't resist such a person at all. Even if they risked their lives, they weren't qualified. Lin Xian's eyebrows were tightly knitted together as well. He could also sense the impending danger. Was another immortal descending upon them? It was really a headache. Last time, he relied on the power of the immortal tower to escape the pursuit of the demonic immortal. What about this time? He clenched his fists and quickly probed the things inside the sword world. There was also an emperor bone and the longevity lamp. It seemed that he could only risk his life. Lin Xian clenched the great dragon sword so tightly. The behemoth in the sky descended. Only then did everyone realize that it was a tortoise. It had a huge body and an old face. No one knew how many tens of thousands of years it had lived. It was Master Rashi of the Permethar realm. After he arrived, he lowered his head and looked down. Soon he stared at Lin Xian. Great dragon sword, reincarnation sword. You're the young man who went against the Permethar realm, right? You're really talented. You can actually get 2 of the 5 swords in the world. But unfortunately, they're all broken. What's more, you're just a quasi-emperor. Kneel down and hand the 2 items to Higgin. Then I'll give you a quick death. Lin Wudi, kneel down and greet the immortal. Immortal is not someone you can offend. So what if he was an immortal? It's not like I haven't seen it before. I even walked out of the immortal realm alive. Why couldn't he offend him? The other emperors sneered after hearing that. You survived from immortal? Are you kidding me? Immortal, 1 look is enough to kill you. Master Rashi also snorted coldly. He's really arrogant. After saying that, he exhaled. A wisp of immortal chi lunged forward like a peerless killing intent. Xia Juyo felt as if he was struck by lightning. Lin Xian's face was also pale. His body was about to crack. It had to be said that Master Rashi was really terrifying. A single breath of his seemed to be able to kill countless great emperors. At this critical moment, Lin Xian roared. The great dragon sword spirit circled around his body, emitting a peerless aura. At the same time, he did not dare to be careless. He immediately took out a skeleton and floated in front of him. The skeleton was obtained from the Soul Emperor. This skeleton was different from the one in the stone coffin. The one in the stone coffin was very quiet. However, this skeleton emitted a trace of light. He blocked this wisp of immortal chi. Even on the skeleton, a mysterious pattern erupted and spread all over the surroundings. He actually blocked it. The surrounding great emperors were dumbfounded. It was too unbelievable. How did the other party do it? Even if the other party had the great dragon sword spirit, he might not be able to block it, right? Because the other party was only a quasi-emperor. He could not unleash the full power of the great dragon sword spirit. The immortal was also stunned. He realized that it was not the power of the great dragon sword spirit, nor the power of the reincarnation sword. It was a bone. A small bone could block his breath of immortal chi. His face darkened. It seemed that it should be the bone of a supreme expert. It blocked this attack. Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief, as expected of the ancient Emperor Zun. However, the crisis was not resolved. It only blocked the other party's breath. If the other party moved his claws, they probably wouldn't be able to block it. Lin Xian said to Xia Jiao, Elder Xia, find a chance to escape. Follow me closely. If you really can't, I'll take you to a strange place. Yes. Xia Jiao nodded, his face incomparably cold. He didn't expect to meet an Earth immortal as soon as he came out. It seemed that he had no choice but to run away. At this moment, a spatial door appeared in the sky. Soon after, two figures walked out from inside. Who came at this time? Could it be that the people from the God realm had come? The people from the other world, Heavenly King frowned. The God realm was their archenemy. Great, there was hope. Lin Xian and the others were also happy. Everyone looked at the spatial door. However, when they saw the two figures, everyone was stunned. Even Lin Xian was dumbfounded. Black Mountain and the North Demon. That's right, it was these two who had come. After Black Mountain came, he said with a smile, Boy, it seems that I'm not late. What are you two doing here? Hurry up and leave. You're no match for them. Go and call Lord Jiao and my father. As soon as he finished speaking, Black Mountain had already arrived. Not only did he not escape, but he came to Lin Xian's side and said, Your father and the others are very busy. They don't have time now. I'll help you. You? Xia Jiao was also stunned. On the other side, Great Emperor Baiyu laughed out loud. I'm dying of laughter. Is there no one else in the God realm? They actually sent two quasi-emperors here. That's right, whether it was Black Mountain or the North Demon. They were only quasi-emperors. They weren't even great emperors. How could they compete with them? Not to mention, they had Master Rashi on their side. Two little ants. I'm not interested anymore. I'll kill you directly. Master Rashi raised his claws and slapped forward. Not good. Retreat quickly. Xia, Jiao exclaimed. Lin Xian's expression changed drastically. He controlled the emperor bone tightly and quickly retreated with the others. At the same time, he said, Are you here to die? Black Mountain smiled. Don't worry, I'm here with reinforcements. After that, he bowed with both hands. Fairy, please help. Is there anyone else? Seeing Black Mountain's action, the surrounding great emperors were all stunned. Master Rashi snorted coldly, pretending to be mysterious. Who can save them? Was there anyone who could be compared to him? Even if the other party had a magical bone in his hand. So what? Even if the other party had the dragon sword soul and the reincarnation sword fragment. So what? In the face of absolute strength, these things were not enough. Although he couldn't shatter the dragon sword soul or destroy the bone. However, killing these ants was as easy as flipping one's hand. Great, it's over. Great Emperor Baiyu, Nether Venerable, and the others all sneered when they saw this scene. In their opinion, no one could resist Master Rashi's attack. Xiajuyo was also in despair. Am I going to die? He had just become a great emperor. He was unwilling to accept this. In the nick of time, the void was torn apart as a pure white palm tore through the sky. It attacked Master Rashi in front of it. With a boom, it collided with Master Rashi's claws. Chapter 6084. In the sky, a white jade palm suddenly appeared and collided with Master Rashi's claws. In an instant, countless terrifying cracks appeared in the sky. There were even countless stars that were shattered into pieces. The attack was so powerful that it tore a rift in the 18 hells. Many of the creatures inside had been reduced to ashes. Xiajuo opened her eyes and exclaimed, "Not dead!" Lin Xian was also surprised. This palm is so terrifying. Is another Earth immortal coming? Who is it? He looked at Black Mountain. Black Mountain smiled. You're finally here. Damn it, who is it? Who dares to fight against me? Master Rashi let out an angry roar. He had attacked twice, but failed to kill a few little ants. He was ashamed. He roared crazily, and another stream of immortal energy surged and turned into a bolt of lightning. It could even split the sky open. He charged over. However, in the sky, a 7-colored light hung down and turned into a sky curtain, blocking the lightning. So what if you're an immortal? A cold voice sounded, and a white-clothed figure appeared between heaven and earth. Her face was extremely beautiful, and her body carried an ethereal aura as if she would become an immortal at any time. It was her. When Lin Xian saw this figure, he was stunned. He knew this person. The surrounding great emperors felt their scalps go numb because this newly appeared woman in white also carried an extremely terrifying aura. It was an aura that surpassed the great emperors and was similar to Master Rashi's aura. This was an immortal. Has another Earth immortal appeared? It was unbelievable. Damn it, is she from the divine realm? They gritted their teeth. They didn't expect that at this critical moment, an expert from the divine realm would come. After Master Rashi saw it, his pupils constricted and his face darkened. Guanghan Immortal, it's you. You actually want to help them. Do you know that they are from the divine realm? I know. I'm here to save their lives. Leave. With me here, you can't kill them. The Guanghan Immortal came to Lin Xian and the others and said indifferently. Lin Xian and the others also bowed. Greetings, Senior. The Moon Immortal turned to look at Lin Xian and nodded slightly. Little guy, we meet again. That's great. Lin Xian and the rest laughed. With this land immortal around, their lives were no longer in danger. Master Rashi's face turned ugly. He roared angrily. Do you know what you're talking about? Do you want to go against Higgin? The Guanghan Immortal shook his head. To be honest, I don't want to be your enemy, but I can't let you hurt them. Wishful thinking. Master Rashi roared and attacked again. His massive body came crashing down, shattering the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Hell had been torn apart, and the Xia clan had long since fled. Those that did not manage to escape were reduced to a bloody mist by this power. It wasn't just the people in the 17th level of hell who were fleeing. There was nothing he could do about it. 2 immortals were fighting, and the destruction they caused was too terrifying. At this moment, even the great emperors had fled. Only the Higgin Immortal and the Supreme Palace were still there. Facing Master Rashi's attack, the Guanghan Immortal sighed and waved her hand. A treasure tree that shone with 7-colored light appeared in her hand. With a gentle sweep, the 7-colored immortal light swept across the 9 heavens. The 2 fought fiercely. It's useless. Master Rashi, we're in the same realm. It's very difficult to determine the winner. You can't keep me here, and you can't hurt them. Stop. Don't waste your strength. Damn it. Master Rashi gritted his teeth. Indeed, he couldn't defeat the Guanghan Immortal in a short period of time. However, how could he let the other party leave? This time, he had come under orders. If he left like this, he wouldn't be able to explain himself. Thinking of this, he turned his head and said to the people of the Supreme Palace, "What? Don't tell me the Supreme Palace doesn't plan to make a move? Where's the Grim Reaper? Tell him to get over here." Netherworld Sovereign and the others were so scared that their scalps went numb. They hurriedly sent a message. A crack appeared on their backs. A death scythe appeared. Following it, a figure surrounded by a deathly aura walked out. This figure was extremely tall. As soon as he appeared, the aura of death spread in all directions. It turned everything into azure hell. He was the Grim Reaper. "Greetings, Lord Grim Reaper." Netherworld Sovereign and the others quickly knelt down and bowed. After the Grim Reaper arrived, they stared ahead. He said in a deep voice, "Guanghan Immortal, long time no see. Are you going to go against us? You're so beautiful. It would be a pity if you were killed. I'm afraid you don't have the ability." The Guanghan Immortal snorted coldly. "Is that so? My power is not something you can imagine." The Grim Reaper waved his hand, and the death scythe flew out. A black light streaked across the 9 heavens and slashed down. This was an aura that could destroy the world. Lin Xian and the others felt their hair stand on end. They hurriedly used the great dragon sword Qi to block this destructive power. Otherwise, even if they weren't hit, the remaining power of this power could turn them into white bones. An Earth Immortal level figure was too powerful. The Guanghan Immortal took out the rainbow treasure tree and used it to block everything. A sonorous sound rang out. But at this moment, Master Rashi made his move. He punched out and directly pushed the Guanghan Immortal back. The Guanghan Immortal frowned slightly. Not good. Xia Juyo was worried. 2 against 1. The situation is really not good. Lin Xian said, "Senior, in this situation, it's not good to fight for a long time. Take us away first. We'll come back later. Don't worry, they can't hurt you." After the Guanghan Immortal finished speaking, she looked at the void. She said, "Since you're here, make your move. Is there anyone else?" Lin Xian and the others were stunned. Black Mountain was also excited. "Are you here?" In the sky, a cold voice sounded again. "I'm indeed here, but don't flatter yourself. I'm not here to help you. I just don't like hell. I don't like the Grim Reaper. I want to see who's better today." As soon as the voice fell, the void was cut into pieces by endless saber light. Then, a figure wearing a mask walked in. This figure was surrounded by endless murderous intent, and there was an illusion of the moon behind her. She was peerless and made people look up to her. However, the murderous intent on her body was terrifying. So scary. Xia Juyo's scalp went numb. Lin Xian was shocked. It's her. He remembered that this was another kind of powerhouse he saw in the Moon Palace. Back then, he saw 2 mysterious people in the Moon Palace. One was the Guanghan Immortal, and the other was a woman called the Moon Goddess. That woman wanted to kill him back then. It seemed that it was because he had the power of the Demon Emperor. Now, the other party came to help him. What was going on? He looked at Black Mountain. Black Mountain said, "It's a long story. I'll tell you in detail later." This new figure made countless people raise their heads to look up at him. Great Emperor Baiyu, Netherworld Sovereign, and the others were also terrified. The murderous intent on the other party was too terrifying. It was not weaker than the Grim Reaper at all. The Grim Reaper also frowned. He said coldly, "Moon Goddess, you're still alive." The Moon Goddess snorted. "You're not dead. How can I die? Are you here to help them? Do you want to become enemies with the Supreme Palace?" The Grim Reaper's voice was emotionless. The Moon Goddess said, "No, I'm here to compete with you. I just want to know if the hell you built is more powerful, or the human world I built is more powerful." Chapter 6085. The moon god's voice was extremely cold and filled with endless killing intent. After Lin Xian heard this, he was completely stunned. What? The human world was actually created by him. It was unbelievable. One had to know that he had been hunted down by the human world before. Not only that, he had also been hunted down by the people of hell. Could it be that hell was created by the god of death? Thinking of this, he sucked in a breath of cold air. He didn't expect that behind these killer palaces was an earth immortal. No wonder it had been passed down for so long. What about the heavenly court, which was equally famous as these two? The heavenly court also had an extremely terrifying killer palace. Who created it? It must be an earth immortal. Lin Xian was very curious about this, but now he didn't have time to ask Black Mountain, because he was afraid that an extremely terrifying divine battle would happen next. Do you want to know who is stronger between hell and the human world? Very well, you'll know after a battle. The black sickle blotted out the sky and covered the earth as it slashed forward. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The moon god snorted coldly and waved her hand. Endless weapon fragments condensed in her hand, forming a scimitar. The full moon scimitar slashed out, shattering heaven and earth. With a clang, the two weapons collided. These were two divine artifacts. After one strike, the power was extremely terrifying. The 18th level of hell was split in half. Then the two of them retreated. When the god of death saw this scene, his face was extremely cold. The 18th level of hell was the source of his collection of geniuses. If this place was destroyed, then his territory would be gone as well. He gritted his teeth and said, "Control your power. Do you dare to compete with me?" "No problem." The moon god snorted coldly, killing of the moon. Although the law immortal energy this time was terrifying, the range of its attack had been controlled to a certain area. It couldn't threaten anyone else. Lin Xian and the others were shocked. This was an earth immortal. His control over his power was extremely precise. The two of them fought, and the divine battle completely broke out. Lin Xian and the others were dazzled. This strength had completely surpassed the great emperor. Sure enough, the surrounding great emperors were also trembling in fear. Master Rashi lowered his gaze again and stared at Lin Xian and the others. However, the Guang Hanxian walked over, and the two of them started fighting again. These two were fighting immortals. The two of them also controlled their power so that it did not affect anything else. The martial monarchs let out a relieved sigh. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to escape once the four earth immortals attacked. He would probably be reduced to ashes by the remaining power of this energy. Too powerful. Lin Xian, Xiajiao, and the others felt their blood boil. On the other side, Martial Monarch Baiyu, Netherworld Supremacy, and the others were having a discussion too. Should he make a move now? Let's take down Lin Xian together. However, Master Rashi sent a voice transmission to Great Emperor Baiyu, saying, "Don't attack first. I have my own plan." As long as the opponent's Earth Immortal was defeated, that kid would not be able to escape. Yes, Great Emperor Baiyu was stunned when she heard this. He naturally did not dare to destroy Master Rashi's plan. Thus, he could only shake his head at the Netherworld's sovereign. Let's wait for the battle of the immortals to come to an end. Master Rashi kept attacking. His defense was very terrifying. The seven-colored immortal light hit his turtle shell, making an earth-shattering sound. However, it did not hurt him. He said coldly, "It's useless. No one can break my defense." "Is that so? Then you can't break my seven-colored immortal light either." The Seven Wonders tree in the Guanghan Immortal's hand was also very mysterious. Although the battle between the two was shocking, it would be difficult to determine the winner in a short period of time. That might not be the case. Master Rashi suddenly laughed strangely. The Guanghan Immortal frowned. Why is this guy laughing so sinisterly? Could it be a trap? Thinking of this, she quickly retreated. However, at this moment, the void shattered, and a long sword slashed down from the sky. The sword energy carried endless killing intent, making everyone's hair stand on end. "Want to leave?" It was too late. Not good. When the others saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically. What's going on? Why is there another earth-shattering power? Earth Immortal. Another Earth Immortal had arrived. The great emperors roared in horror. The people of the Supreme Hall were dumbfounded. "Great Emperor Baiyu," and the others from the other side cheered. "It's the Essence Immortal." That's great. No wonder Master Rashi didn't let them make a move. It turned out that the Essence Immortal was hiding in the dark. At the critical moment, he made a killing move. Lin Xian was also shocked. He exclaimed, "I recognize this sword. It's the dragon's slaying sword. Damn it, could it be that Essence Immortal? Not good. Senior, retreat." Lin Xian roared angrily. At the same time, he roared into the sky. The immortal slaying sword and the great dragon's sword merged and were thrown out by him. It turned into a ray of holy light and charged towards the dragon's slaying sword. Clang! The sound of metal colliding was like the roar of thousands of soldiers and horses. The dragon's slaying sword shook slightly, but in the next moment it sent the immortal slaying sword flying. The immortal slaying sword flew backward. It did not seem to affect the dragon-slaying sword. The Essence Immortal's eyes were like two lanterns in the immortal world. He turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. "Little ant, you have a divine artifact, but so what? You still can't fight against a real land immortal." The immortal light in his eyes suddenly erupted as he charged towards Lin Xian. Not good. Lin Xian felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He gritted his teeth and took out the heaven-swallowing jar, creating an endless vortex. He placed another emperor bone in front of him. However, he was still beaten until he vomited blood. He felt that all the bones in his body had cracked and his soul was about to be extinguished. At the critical moment, the seven-colored immortal energy came in front of him and blocked the sword. At the same time, the Guanghan Immortal's voice sounded, "Hurry up and leave. You are not his match." "Guanghan Immortal, are you still in the mood to care about others?" The Essence Immortal sneered as the dragon-slaying sword slashed over again. Master Rashi also attacked. 2 against 1. Moreover, they were 2 land immortals, causing the Guanghan Immortal to be in extreme danger. Xia Jiao and the others were in despair. Lin Xian also roared. He was prepared to open the sword world and activate the great dragon sword soul without caring about anything else. However, at this moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Thousands of black holes appeared in the 9 heavens. Then, a force that could topple mountains and overturn seas struck the dragon-slaying sword. With a clang, the dragon-slaying sword was shaken by the impact. Endless sword energy pierced through all directions. In the end, the dragon-slaying sword was sent flying. How was this possible? The Essence Immortal was stunned. Master Rashi was also shocked and stood there in a daze. He didn't make a move. Who was it? Had another existence that wasn't weaker than them appeared? The Guanghan Immortal also suddenly raised his head and looked at the endless black holes. This she exclaimed. On the other side, the Death God and the Moon God who were fighting also stopped. They stood on both sides. Boundless killing intent filled the air. The entire atmosphere was extremely oppressive, but at this moment, no one dared to make a move. The reason for that was because they could sense an extremely frightening power coming from the sky. Another Earth Immortal level person, is he here? Lin Xian also raised his head. He used his Rinnegan. However, he realized that his Rinnegan couldn't see through it at all. In the sky, there were countless clouds and mist that filled the air, covering everything. However, since the other party had saved the Guanghan Immortal, they should be on their side. Was it a land immortal from the divine realm? Chapter 6086. Suddenly, thousands of black holes appeared in the sky. Everyone raised their heads and looked over. Even the few Earth immortals furrowed their brows. Master Rashi snorted coldly. "Who is it? Come out and pretend to be a ghost." Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, 2 rays of light suddenly appeared in the countless black holes. They were 2 golden flames, like small suns, jumping and spinning. Then, wherever they looked, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They realized that the 2 flames were eyes. 2 golden eyes. Lin Xian's Rinnegan also kept jumping. He was really shocked. What kind of eyes were these? They seemed to be even more terrifying than the Rinnegan. The arrogant Master Rashi also looked as if he had seen a ghost. He seemed to have thought of something. Could it be, before he could finish his words, the golden eyes cut through the sky and landed on him? Boom! Master Rashi's huge body flew backward, and he even coughed out a mouthful of blood. The world shattered. Everyone was dumbfounded. Impossible, right? Great Emperor Baiyu and the others went crazy. Previously, Master Rashi and Guanghan Immortal had fought for so long, and the 2 of them were evenly matched and had not been injured. This was because Master Rashi was known for his defense. His turtle shell seemed to be able to resist all attacks. Innates were invincible, but now, a single gaze from the sky had injured Master Rashi. How terrifying was this person? The other great emperors were also dumbfounded. When they looked at the pair of golden eyes, they suddenly screamed in agony. Their eyes were stinging, and even some great emperors were bleeding. Netherworld Sovereign covered his eyes, and blood tears flowed from his eyes. There was nothing he could do. It was too painful. The other party's eyes were filled with incomparable flames, making them unable to look directly at him. Apart from them, Higgin was the same. Even Xiajiao, Black Mountain, and the others lowered their heads, not daring to look. Apart from a few Earth immortals, it seemed that only Lin Xian could use his Rinnegan to investigate. However, that was all. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Who on earth was this person? The Guanghan Immortal took a deep breath. Fiery eyes of truth. I didn't expect him to be here too. After saying that, she smiled. Don't worry, we'll definitely win this time. Who was this person? To think that the Guanghan Immortal would say something so confident. On the other side, Master Rashi also got up. He looked up at the sky and roared madly, Battle God, you're awake too? That's impossible. Humph. A voice came from the sky. It was like a clap of thunder piercing through the 9 heavens, causing everyone's bodies to split apart. Then, a figure appeared behind the pair of golden eyes. Countless clouds filled the air, carrying him. Amidst the auspicious clouds, a figure sat cross-legged. It was a stone monkey. He sat upright in the clouds, like a god above the 9 heavens. Damn it, it's really him. The virtual immortal's expression was also extremely ugly. On the other side, the moon goddess's eyes flickered. Even the fighting god had appeared. The Grim Reaper didn't make a move either. He was also facing a great enemy. That was because this name was too unusual. His opponents break the universe, break the heavens. It was a myth. In the sky, the fighting god looked down. The radiance of his fiery golden eyes was restrained, and the flames in his eyes kept spinning. He stared at Master Rashi and said coldly, "You turtle, how dare you come out to stir up trouble? Aren't you afraid that I'll suppress you again?" His loud voice was like the roar of a god. Master Rashi was so scared that he trembled, because he thought of his past. Back then he had fought with the other party, but he was seriously injured and even fell into a deep sleep for hundreds of thousands of years. He was no match for the other party. The virtual immortal beside him snorted coldly. Don't be arrogant. There are many experts in the Nirvana realm. There are even grand elders who stand above the 9 heavens. Do you think you can withstand it? Is that so? Then why can't they come out? The fighting god shook his head. You, the virtual immortal, trembled in anger. Indeed, there were many experts in the Nirvana realm. But so what if they couldn't come out? The fighting god ignored them and looked at Lin Xian and Xiajiao. The two of them bowed. Lin Xian said, "Greetings, senior." He now understood who it was. It was the stone monkey in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. Back then he had gone to the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars and obtained the Bodhi fruit there. There was a stone monkey under the Bodhi tree. Not only that, there was another world in the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. There was a man sleeping on the Dragon Mountain. This stone monkey was actually so terrifying. It was a land immortal. Who was that man? In the sky. The fighting god said, "Follow me." He didn't do anything. He just looked down. Clouds filled the air around Lin Xian and Xiajiao, forming 2 auspicious clouds. He brought them into the sky. "How dare you!" the virtual immortal roared. The Grim Reaper also snorted coldly. "Do you think we don't exist?" They had been fighting for so long. Wasn't it just a fight for Xiajiao? The people of the Nirvana realm even wanted to kill Lin Xian. But now these 2 important people were taken away by the other party. "Do you want to fight?" The fighting god snorted coldly. The golden light in his eyes was originally restrained, but it suddenly bloomed. The entire sky was completely enveloped by this flame, constantly shattering. At a glance, it burned the world. Those great emperors were so scared that they prostrated on the ground. It was too terrifying. What kind of power was this? It was as if he could kill all of them with just a glance. The land immortal on the other side fell silent. Master Rashi gritted his teeth. This damn monkey's aura was too strong. They couldn't fight. The virtual immortal didn't dare to make a move. If it was 3 against 1, they would definitely attack without hesitation. But now it was 3 against 3. If they really wanted to fight, Master Rashi wasn't a match. He didn't even have the courage to fight. Then he would be facing the fighting god. Facing a legendary figure, the virtual immortal was also under a lot of pressure. He felt that his chances of winning were only 30%. It wasn't even certain. That was because no one knew what level the battle god had reached. Thinking of this, he turned his head to look at the death god. The death god also shook his head slightly and said through voice transmission, "We can't fight unless 2 more land immortals come." Land immortals weren't cabbages. Moreover, in the previous battle, countless people were injured. A large number of great emperors fell, and even the land immortals were seriously injured. The better ones were like the virtual immortals, who were recovering silently. The worse ones were like Master Rashi, who had been sleeping for millions of years. There were also some who hadn't woken up yet. Therefore, they couldn't bring out such a lineup at the moment. It seemed that they could only retreat. At this moment, the fighting god in the sky spoke again. "The 9 Netherland will be opened by the divine realm. You can only enter after 3 years. 3 years. Damn it. The virtual immortal and the others gritted their teeth. 3 years was enough for too many things to happen. The divine realm entered first and set up the trap first. After they entered, they would be quite passive. Even some of the treasures in the 9 Netherland would be snatched by the divine realm first. Damn it. They had calculated everything, but they didn't expect the fighting god to wake up. Chapter 6087. The people of the Nirvana realm and the Supreme Hall left. The surroundings were a mess, as if the chaos had just begun. This was the scene left behind after the battle between the land immortals. This was because they had controlled their power. Otherwise, with one blow, the 18 levels of hell would have been reduced to ashes. They were finally gone. Black Mountain and the others breathed a sigh of relief. It was really dangerous just now. The battle between the gods and the immortals was so far away from them. However, it happened in front of them at this moment. Lin Xian and Xiajiao were also pale. This was especially so for Lin Xian, who clenched his fists tightly. Strength. This was absolute strength, a supreme existence. When would he be able to reach this step? Lin Xian. A resounding voice came from behind the battle god. Lin Xian was stunned and turned his head. It's you, Sun Qitian. You're here too. Sun Qitian smiled. Long time no see. I came with my father. Your father? Lin Xian was completely stunned. This fighting god was Sun Qitian's father. It was incredible. Little guy, I see that your strength has reached the peak of the quasi-emperor. You should be breaking through to the emperor realm soon. As soon as he said that, Sun Qitian was also surprised. So fast. Lin Xian, are you going to take the divine path or the immortal path? Before Lin Xian could speak, the fighting god said, the divine fire seed has reached the peak and the immortal chi seed has reached perfection. It seems that you don't want to give up either of them. That's right, senior. I want to take the immortal path. No way. Sun Qitian was startled. Guanghan Immortal also frowned. Even the moon goddess snorted coldly. You're too greedy. Even the demon emperor, that old ghost, doesn't dare to take such a path. If you continue like this, your body and soul will be destroyed. The loss outweighs the gain. Not necessarily. Lin Xian said there's still a chance. I cultivate the Taiji painting. It can fuse yin and yang. In addition, I found an immortal pagoda in the 9 serenities. It seems to be called the 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda. Dalong said that if he could find the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda, he might be able to open a path to the immortal path. The 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda. Moon God was shocked. The fighting god said, Tai Chi gives birth to yin and yang. If you use the Tai Chi diagram as the foundation, you might really be able to do it. However, no one has done it before, so I can't say for sure what the chances of success are. Guanghan Immortal beside him said, yeah, the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth is even harder to find. What if you can't find it? Lin Xian was stunned. He had never thought about this before, because, in his knowledge, there was nothing he couldn't find. Beside him, the battle god also raised his head to look at the sky. The golden light in his eyes suddenly pierced through the 9 heavens as he looked at the endless void. What's wrong? The Guanghan Immortal was nervous. Did the people of the Nirvana realm make a comeback? The moon goddess snorted and said, then let's kill them all. A murderous aura instantly erupted from her body. Even Lin Xian and the others looked as if they were facing a great enemy. Was another great battle coming? However, the war god shook his head slightly. No, it wasn't someone from the otherworld realm, nor was it someone from the Supreme Palace. I sensed an aura. The others were puzzled. What aura? It could make the war god so surprised. The war god didn't say anything. After watching for half an hour, he withdrew his gaze. Then he actually smiled. Haha, little guy, you're so lucky. I sense that the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth has appeared. Really? Lin Xian was overjoyed. The moon goddess and the Guanghan Immortal also felt incredible. The 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda and the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth appeared one after another. It should be known that in the endless years, it was already heaven-defying to have one appear. But now they appeared at the same time. Moreover, it was on the eve of Lin Xian's Dao validation. Could it be that Lin Xian was really going to walk the Dao of immortals? Senior, where is the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth? Lin Xian asked anxiously. He must find it because it was his hope of Dao validation. The war god said, little guy, don't panic. That thing can't run away. Besides, it won't be obtained by outsiders. Let's open the 9th underworld first. Oh, Lin Xian froze, then nodded. That's right. How could something that had been targeted by the battle god run away? He thought that the war god was extremely confident that he could snatch the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth under the siege of the Nirvana realm and the Supreme Palace. However, he later realized that he was wrong. The war god didn't mean that. Of course, he didn't know yet. The most important thing now was to open the 9th underworld. Lin Xian must get the 7 treasures, exquisite pagoda inside. Xiajiao took a deep breath and used his 9 underworld physique to the extreme. Lin Xian also waved his hand and took out 2 wordless heavenly steels. There was another wordless heavenly steel in hell. At this moment, it flew out automatically after being sensed. The 3 wordless heavenly steels stood in 3 directions, representing heaven, earth, and man. Then, they used the 9 underworld physique as the key to open the 9th underworld. Crack, crack, crack. An ancient sound rang between heaven and earth, as if a new time and space had been restarted. At this moment, a mysterious and primitive aura came from the void. Everyone was shocked. The people in hell were shocked. What is this? Has the ancient world been opened? I felt a strong in power. Great, I'm going to break through. A new world has arrived. It's incredible. The people in hell all roared crazily. Not only hell, but all the worlds in the universe also sensed it. What has appeared? Oh heavens! Is another land of immortals descending upon us? No, I feel that this aura is even more terrifying than the deity ground. It's more than 10 times stronger. The people in the universe also went crazy. Some people who cultivated the yin power were trembling with excitement. If they could get this power, they could advance by leaps and bounds. Great, as expected of the Golden Age. They knelt down and cheered. The people in the deity ground also felt it. Many people felt their hair stand on end. They looked at the universe from afar, shocked. This universe was too mysterious. There were endless secrets in all the worlds in the universe. In the beginning, when the deity ground descended, these people looked down on the universe. They thought that it was an inferior world. It was just a small universe that could be destroyed easily. However, the more they came into contact with it, the more shocked they were, because endless secrets were buried in the universe. As a matter of fact, a new power had appeared. The Divine Union, the Yi family, the Gu family, the Phoenix clan, the Qilin clan, these great emperor families, and the remote antiquity families. At this moment, all of them were shocked. It could be said that all the living beings in the universe and all the worlds in the universe were shocked. At this moment, everyone in the 9 serenities was panicking. It seemed that something incredible was about to happen. In the 9 serenities, some of these families had many great emperors. Some even cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi. At this moment, they felt their eyelids twitching and their souls trembling. They couldn't help but look up at the sky. What is going to happen? Why am I so uneasy? In an ancient palace, a white-haired great emperor sighed. It's here. It's finally here. He was the great emperor who had chased away his little disciple. In the endless abyss, a great emperor in black armor also took a deep breath. This feeling of the unknown, was it hope or destruction? Previously, he had personally put his 2 children to sleep, waiting for them to wake up after 10,000 years. This was because he didn't know what would happen when the experts outside arrived. Would it be the same as millions of years ago? You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.